Chapter 1479, Condensation of Strong Cultivators. Now they were starting to kill emperors who hadn't been attacked by surprise, such as Emperor Yu. 3 emperors. Emperor Yu looked worried. 3 emperors were going for him. What a terrifying army. There were also 2 emperors standing idly who were ready to attack anyone with a moment's notice. I would have never thought I'd die like this, thought Emperor Yen. Even though the enemies listened to the medium-level emperor and ran towards Emperor Yu, they already knew that they should attack him. Who was behind all that? Hurry up, said the medium-level emperor. Boom! Emperor Yu jumped forwards and released a mountain attack. Then, Emperor Yu, Lin Feng and the others disappeared in the earth and cosmic energies. Slash, slash, the earth shook and broke. An emperor had attacked the mountain with sword energies. The 3 emperors disappeared and flew inside the mountain. Break, shouted Emperor Yu. He had reappeared again with an earthen armor on. Lin Feng and the others were also wrapped up with earthen energies. Illusion, said someone suddenly. Illusional cosmic energies rose up in the air. Suddenly, Lin Feng realized his fellow disciples and teacher weren't together anymore. They were in separate empty spaces. You two, fight against the emperor, I'll go and fight the others, said one of them. The 2 others moved towards Emperor Yu while that one went to Lin Feng and the others. Slash, at that moment, a terrifying cosmic energy passed in front of him and he immediately stopped. Move, shouted the medium-level emperor furiously. Then, the emperor continued running towards Lin Feng. Bzzz. Oppressive energies surrounded Lin Feng. He had the impression he was going to choke to death. Even though he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, he couldn't do anything against emperors. Even some emperors were dying around them. That cultivator stretched out his hand towards Lin Feng while releasing some cosmic energies. Die. Lin Feng's face turned deathly pale. He felt that he had no chance. No, shouted Lin Feng while releasing demonic qi. How could he die? When the cosmic energies were just about to kill him, suddenly, terrifying sword energies descended from the sky. Lin Feng sensed that the energies attacking him weakened and had disappeared. Who, the one who wanted to kill Lin Feng, looked furious. Who was helping Lin Feng? In the distance, sword qi appeared and whistled. It was an ancient sword qi. Dong! A metallic sound rung. Who's that now, thought the crowd. Everybody gazed into the distance. Dong, another sound appeared as a silhouette appeared at the top of the stairs. It was an old man who had numerous wrinkles on his face. Although he looked old, his eyes looked sharp. He slowly walked towards them. How strong, thought the crowd. The one had tried to kill Lin Feng looked furious. The medium-level emperor looked horrified. It's him. Emperor Qi's facial expression changed drastically. The old man was getting nearer and nearer, his robe was fluttering in the wind. Even though he looked extremely old, he also looked incredibly powerful. Lin Feng recognized him because he had seen him before in Jiang'e, when he had taken Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword. It doesn't have anything to do with you, said the medium-level emperor to the old man. You went too far, said the old man. The medium-level emperor looked furious. However, at that moment, he seemed even more vigilant. Bzzz, another silhouette appeared. That person looked terrifying as well. Another medium-level emperor, the crowd was astonished. Brother, help me tidy up, said the medium-level emperor smiling in a cold way. All right, said the person in a hoarse voice who had just appeared. However, at that moment, more and more people appeared. They were all wearing plated bamboo hats and nobody could see their faces. You're too impatient, said a cultivator with a plated bamboo hat. Half of his body was covered by his hat. Watchers, 18 of them, the crowd was amazed. Lin Feng was surprised but smiled and thought, it seems like my way of thinking was too simplistic. Anyone can wear a plated bamboo hat, so there's no limit to the number of watchers. The assassins looked furious. The watcher's father, the medium-level emperor, looked at the cultivator wearing a plaited bamboo hat who had appeared in the sky. Then he said, "Get ready." "How else should we defeat you?" said the watcher's father indifferently. He then shook his hand and suddenly dazzling arrows appeared in all the watchers' hands. They were aiming at the strong cultivators from the Imperial Assassin Union. That person didn't reply. The medium-level emperor who had appeared in the distance looked at the old man. There were 4 medium-level emperors, 2 versus 2. "I hope you won't get involved," said that cultivator to the old man. "I came to protect some people. I don't care about the rest," said the old man calmly and indifferently. "Thank you, Your Excellency," said that person calmly. Then he said to the watcher's father, "I have even more emperors." "Did you think that the emperors of the Ba Huang province and Zhou Yu can be killed so easily?" said the watcher's father. The watchers and the members of the Imperial Assassin Union were starting to argue. Arg, a gigantic stick blotted out the sky and a gigantic black silhouette was holding it. The wooden stick moved towards an assassin. That person wanted to dodge the attack but failed. He was immediately crushed to death. What a terrifying strength, thought the crowd. That was the Great Ape Emperor. Why don't you attack? Are you waiting to die? Asked the Great Ape Emperor, trying to wake some people up. Many emperors started releasing their energies. They felt a little bit more relieved as the watchers were there to help. Chapter 1480, Flinching. "Save me," shouted a voice. People turned around and saw Emperor Si Kong being attacked by 2 assassins. He had already lost an arm and was bleeding profusely. The watcher's father glanced at that, but he seemed pensive. "Emperor Si Kong is friends with Emperor Qi and Emperor Dong, so why don't you help him?" said Emperor Wen suddenly. But the Wen clan wasn't friends with the Si Kong clan and the Qi clan. Emperor Wen didn't actually hope someone would save Emperor Si Kong. "The Si Kong clan has a medium-level emperor, why doesn't he come out?" asked someone else. The crowd frowned. It was the emperor who hadn't shown up yet, the one who had attacked the emperors with the Imperial Assassin Union. He was blocking the other medium-level emperor and preventing him from attacking. Slash, slash, deadly energies sealed the space. However, that medium-level emperor still didn't appear. A horrible shriek sounded as Emperor Si Kong lost another arm. 2 assassins from the Imperial Assassin Union were oppressing him and were attacking him relentlessly. "Who are you?" asked Emperor Si Kong furiously. He released empty space cosmic energies with his eyes, but the 2 assassins entered another empty space and released their own cosmic energies. Someone else was in an even more difficult situation than Emperor Si Kong, it was Emperor Yen. He had almost disappeared completely. Emperor Devamara and a watcher were blocking the cultivators who were attacking him, but he was disappearing in a fire. "Fu Hei, come here," said Emperor Yen to Fu Hei. "Teacher." Fu Hei's eyes were bloodshot. Emperor Yen was burning too intensely, so Fu Hei couldn't get near. "After I die, you will manage the fire mountain," said Emperor Yen. Fu Hei nodded, his face was deathly pale. He looked devastated. "He can't receive all your fire cosmic energy alone, much of it will spill over and go to waste. Give some to him and he will avenge you," said the old man next to Lin Feng, pointing at Lin Feng. Emperor Yen slowly turned around and glanced at the old man and then at Lin Feng and nodded, "All right, Emperor Yu and Emperor Shi's disciple is an incredible genius. You're right." Then cosmic energies moved from Emperor Yan's body and 2 lights appeared. One light moved towards Lin Feng and one towards Fu Hei, instantly penetrating their bodies. The terrifying cosmic energies suddenly made their blood boil. Fire. Lin Feng sensed the energies overwhelm him. He was worried that he was going to burn to death. Unfortunately, he wasn't an emperor, so it was difficult for him to assimilate those energies. Emperor Yen is dying, and he can transmit these energies only when he is dying. "Don't waste them," cleanse your body with them, said the old man to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded and closed his eyes while sensing the pure cosmic energies. Lin Feng had cleansed his body with many sorts of energies before. His fire energies were becoming even stronger. Unknowingly, his body started burning. Fu Hei was the same. Behind Fu Hei, a fire silhouette appeared which looked like a fire spirit. Fu Hei apparently had a celestial fire body type. No, at that moment, a voice resonated in the air. A sword pierced through Emperor Si Kong's head and his head exploded. His cosmic energies turned into a light which dashed to the skies. Emperor Si Kong is dead too, the crowd was astonished. The Imperial Assassin Union was finally losing the advantage. Those who weren't emperors died quickly. Even though the emperors were poisoned, they could easily kill people who weren't at the emperor level. Concerning the two strong cultivators who had just killed Emperor Si Kong, they were now moving towards Emperor Qi. "Help me kill them," shouted Emperor Qi. "I told Emperor Dong to help the other emperors, but he didn't." "So why would we help you?" said Emperor Yu while fighting against another emperor. Emperor Dong and Emperor Qi looked devastated. "Let's forget about our conflicts and help each other," shouted Emperor Dan. He wanted to join hands with you and Emperor Qi to fight off the assassins. "Emperor Qi and Emperor Dong are my enemies, surprisingly, you want to help them. Besides, it seems like the two Qi emperors are not that affected by the poison. I believe that you joined hands with them and created the poison," said Emperor Yu. Had the assassins joined hands with Emperor Dong and Emperor Qi? Had Emperor Dan made the poison? Many emperors thought that way at that moment, but why had the assassins killed Qi Yan then? And why had they killed Emperor Si Kong, Emperor Qi's friend? Now, they were going to attack Emperor Qi too. Was that the price to pay for a dodgy alliance? The battle was insane. The two medium-level emperors were fighting against the two other medium-level emperors. A medium-level emperor from the Imperial Assassin Union was about to die. The other medium-level emperor was fighting against the Watcher's father. "Escape!" Finally, the medium-level emperor shouted furiously. The members from the Imperial Assassin Union started running away. The assassins had failed and were now running away. The Watchers and the emperors didn't chase them too closely. The assassins from the Imperial Assassin Union were incredibly strong, so they couldn't be underestimated even whilst running. The two low-level emperors were still fighting against Emperor Qi, they were adamant about killing him. "Haven't you heard?" said one of the medium-level emperors. The two cultivators then moved away at full speed. "We'll meet again," said the two medium-level emperors while rising in the air. They hadn't killed the Watcher's father and the medium-level emperor who had been hiding. Emperor Yen was dead too. Lin Feng and Fu Hei opened their eyes and looked at the corpses. They both looked extremely sad. "Don't be too sad, Emperor Yen is not completely dead. Said Emperor Yu. Emperors could make their godly awareness disperse if they weren't completely dead. Lin Feng was surprised but came back to his senses. However, to recover his current strength, Emperor Yen would need a very long time. Yen Di was a perfect example of such a case. "It's a pity that we can't destroy them," said Lin Feng looking at the assassins from the Imperial Assassin Union run away. "Even at the same level, it's difficult to kill them," said Emperor Yu indifferently. Lin Feng still didn't know how to differentiate emperors in terms of cultivation level. Chapter 1481, Complex Situation. The crowd looked around as the Watcher's silhouette flickered. "Everybody, you saw how evil the Imperial Assassin Union is. They want to take over the Ba Huang province and Jiu-Yu," said the Watcher's father before adding, 5 emperors died today, amongst them, the emperors of the Church of Desire, the Sunset Pavilion, the Magic World Heavenly Palace, and the Fire Mountain are 4 influential imperial groups. They no longer have emperors to protect themselves. I know that many of you will try to attack the Imperial Assassins Union for revenge, but I must warn you, if you attack, or if you join hands with the Imperial Assassin Union to attack these wounded groups, you may regret it. Everybody was surprised. Those who had lost their emperors were also moved. The Watcher's father was telling them that he was going to protect them for a while and that they had to break through to the Huang Qi layer if they didn't want their groups to fall and disappear. Besides, the emperors from the Qi Feng Mountain and the Island of the Thunderbirds also got severely injured and need time to recover. If anyone attacks them, they'll be considered a part of the Imperial Assassin Union's accomplices, added the Watcher's father in a cold way. The Imperial Assassin Union wanted to take control of Ba Huang and Jiuyu, which was unforgivable. The situation in Ba Huang and Jiuyu is dangerous. The Imperial Assassin Union used their full strength to attack today. I hope that all the emperors can cooperate and fight against this common enemy. I'm off now. See you. Then the Watcher's father's silhouette flickered, and he left with all the other Watchers. The Watchers have existed for a long time. The emperors have no choice but to join hands and work together with the Watchers for now. With the Imperial Assassin Union so active, there might be another catastrophe, said the old man next to Lin Feng after everybody left. He coughed and put his hand in front of his mouth, but Lin Feng still saw that he was coughing up blood. Master, you're sick and yet, you still came to protect us younger people. I will never forget that, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng had always known that he was an amazing cultivator. Whether he was Emperor Wu Tianjian or not, it wasn't important, he was a sick emperor now. The old man shook his head and smiled. Back then, the Watcher's father protected me too. I didn't come for only you today. Lin Feng nodded. When the old man was younger, the Imperial Assassin Union and the Watchers had already existed. I'm going now, said the old man nodding at Lin Feng. Then he turned around and left. After that, people started leaving. The wedding ceremony had no point anymore because Qi Yan was dead. Shui Baiyao looked confused. That was her wedding, but Qi Yan was dead. She wasn't sad at all though, it was as if a stranger had died. Even if she had become amnesic, she should have been saddened by Qi Yan's death. Boom, at that moment, some extremely powerful qi filled the air. A medium-level emperor's qi, thought the crowd. They saw a silhouette approach Emperor Si Kong. He was looking at Emperor Si Kong, then he exploded Emperor Si Kong's head, and his soul dispersed. Now he would never be able to come back to life. The medium-level emperor from the Si Kong clan has arrived, thought the crowd. That was probably the Si Kong clan's medium-level emperor. The Imperial Assassin Union seems to hate the Si Kong clan and the Qi clan. They killed Emperor Si Kong, Qi Yan, and they wanted to kill Emperor Qi, said Emperor Dong. He looked at Emperor Wen and said, you prevented people from protecting Emperor Si Kong when the Imperial Assassin Union attacked him. What is that supposed to mean? Are you trying to insinuate that the Wen clan and the Imperial Assassin Union joined hands, said Emperor Wen smiling in a cold way. Don't forget that you organized the banquet, and that all the emperors were poisoned besides you. You could have done more but you didn't. The Imperial Assassin Union killed Qi Yan, shouted Emperor Dong furiously. It doesn't mean that the Qi clan has nothing to do with them, said Emperor Wen in a cold way. Humph. Emperor Dong looked upset. The banquet is over. You can all leave. What was supposed to be a happy event had turned into a tragedy. Emperor Dong was furious as he glanced at Emperor Wen, Emperor Yu, Lin Feng and the others. We've all been poisoned here in the Qi Empire and now you're asking us to leave. How shameless, said Emperor Wen smiling coldly. He looked at Shui Baiyao and said, Shui Baiyao, you heard what the Qi clan said. Emperor Yu and I have the same thought, you've been fooled. The one who treated you badly is now dead, so you should leave. Boom. Emperor Dong released a terrifying qi. Emperor Dong, you're a medium-level emperor but you didn't even protect Qi Yan, shouted Emperor Wen extremely loudly. Everybody looked at Emperor Dong, so he recalled his qi and said coldly, you're very insolent. Qi Yan died and you continue humiliating my family, you even humiliate Qi Yan who is dead. Let the dead rest in peace. Everybody knows that we don't like each other. I can humiliate your dead son if I want to. I'm in your empire now, so if you want to kill me, go ahead, said Emperor Wen. He was seemingly infuriating Emperor Dong on purpose. Emperor Dong looked furious but didn't attack. Get the hell out of my empire. Don't forget that you invited everybody here. We are still not cured of our poison. And now you want us to leave. You're ridiculous, said Emperor Wen. Then, he looked at Xue Baiyao and said, Xue Baiyao, even though you're amnesic, you can still make your own choices. Your teacher got close to the Qi clan, and now you've become their tool. Your teacher didn't describe the relationship you have with Lin Feng properly. If you go to the Ba Huang province and ask people, they will tell you the truth and you will realize your teacher's lies. Xue Baiyao looked surprised. Indeed, people in Ba Huang would tell her the truth. Ba Yao, do you trust your teacher or other people? Said Emperor Dan indifferently. Xue Baiyao remained silent for a few seconds and finally shook her head. Teacher, I need time to think. I need some time alone, so I'm going. Then, Xue Baiyao's silhouette flickered, and she left. Emperor Dan was surprised and glanced at Emperor Wen in a cold way. Everybody, Emperor Dong has things to do too. We shouldn't disturb him any longer. The effects of the poison are slowly dispersing. Of course, we still can't afford to be careless, said Emperor Wen. Then he waved at Emperor Yu. Emperors from the Devamara Palace, of the Six Desires, of Qi Feng, let's go together, said Emperor Yu. It would be a great pleasure, said Emperor Devamara. The other emperors didn't refuse either. Let's go, said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng and the others. Then, they left. After a long time, the messenger and the young men also left. The scene was chaotic. Many tables, glasses, and plates were broken. Food and alcohol lay wasted on the ground. Emperor Dong was clenching his fists. Emperor Qi and the medium-level emperor from the Si Kong clan were standing next to him. Bzzz, suddenly, a silhouette descended from the sky. That person looked like Emperor Dong. What's going on here? Asked the emperor from the Si Kong clan angrily. There are two people we can't find, said that person. Those who killed my son and Qi Yan, asked the emperor from the Si Kong clan furiously. The other one nodded and clenched his fists too. Ridiculous. The two Zun cultivators became emperors, you know that, said the emperor from the Si Kong clan coldly. We couldn't do anything. Do you think they would have listened to me if I had told them not to kill Qi Yan and your people? He explained. The emperor of the Si Kong clan continued looking at him in a cold way. Chapter 1482, Making Lin Feng Stronger. Clouds were rolling in the sky as Emperor Yu was in front of Lin Feng and the others. Emperor Yu, Emperor Wen, Emperor Devamara, and the others had made an alliance and were becoming good friends. The Six Desires Empress had gotten involved when the Qi clan was trying to kill Meng Qing at the meeting of the emperors, and then Emperor Qi Feng was injured and was moved after Emperor Yu and the others agreed to stay with him. Emperor Yu, are you sure that Xue Baiyao's memories haven't been sealed or injured? The emperors were talking about Xue Baiyao's condition. Without a doubt. Even if a medium-level emperor had sealed her memories, I would feel a special strength in her godly awareness, said Emperor Yu calmly. Emperor Wen remained silent for a few seconds, he seemed perplexed. He whispered, no wonder that she's losing her memories. I've heard about a special skill which is related to memory. Those who practice it use it to forget everything except cultivation, that way, they focus solely on cultivation, said Emperor Wen. There are many strange things in the world of cultivation, said Yi Renlei smiling over at Lin Feng. Xue Baiyao is a strong cultivator. If she studies rare skills, she could become extremely strong. No wonder the Qi clan thought highly of her and wanted her to marry Qi Yan. Now Qi Yan is dead and Xue Baiyao is alone. It would be sad if she ended up alone. Little Tian, I'm old too now. You should go and find Shui Baiyao. She could stay with you and travel with you, said Emperor Wen, smiling at Wen Tiangu. Wen Tiangu smiled wryly. The other emperors also looked at their disciples. Emperor Devamara smiled and said, we all have some girls and boy, they should make friends with each other. They're all outstanding. Good idea, said Emperor Wen, smiling. 3 girls were there, Yi Renlei, Feng Xian and Feng Ling. They were all extremely beautiful. If they wish. I don't mind, said Emperor Qi Feng, looking at Feng Ling and Feng Xian. The Qi Feng mountain was a bit weak and Emperor Qi Feng was injured, so he was happy to have better relations with the others. Teacher, I will stay with you, said Feng Ling to Emperor Qi Feng. Emperor Qi Feng looked old and tired, he even had wrinkles now. Little girl, you're growing up so you need a good family, said Emperor Qi Feng while caressing Feng Ling's head. Little Xian, you tell us whom you like and we'll arrange everything, said Emperor Qi Feng, looking at Feng Xian and smiling. Feng Xian looked at the young men around her and shook her head. Teacher, I don't want to think about those things. Silly girl, said Emperor Qi Feng, shaking his head and smiling. Yi Renlei, whom do you like? Asked Emperor Wen to Yi Renlei. Yi Renlei knew the Kamatatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion skill. If she married a young man from his clan, the young man could only benefit from it. Yi Renlei's teacher shook her head and smiled. She already has a man, I hope you're not too disappointed. She couldn't help but glance at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was embarrassed and glanced over at Yi Renlei as well. Yi Renlei smiled and bowed before Emperor Wen. Don't blame me. I see. I wonder whom you like. He must be outstanding, asked Emperor Wen. Master, I think he doesn't want me to say his name. Sorry, replied Yi Renlei. Emperor Wen was even more curious, but he just laughed and didn't insist. Unfortunately. I wish you could join my clan, said Emperor Wen, shaking his head. He looked at Wen Tiangu and Wen Ao Shui and said, what about you? You're both outstanding. Many things have changed in Ba Huang. The road to the holy city is open, so you should practice cultivation, become stronger, and then your chances of success will be higher, said Emperor Yu, smiling at them. Everybody nodded. Teacher, if we go to the holy city while some of our emperors have become weak, what will happen? Asked Xiao Yu to Emperor Devamara. Some people will eventually come back. Some people won't go to the holy city and will still become emperors. Everything is possible, so don't worry. Just take care of yourself, replied Emperor Devamara. They continued traveling and left the Qi Empire. Everybody, we're in the Tianwen Empire, we'll stay here for a few days. I should act as a host while we are here, said Emperor Wen, smiling. The Tianwen Empire was where the medium-level emperor of the Wen clan lived. Good. I didn't have any plans. A holiday in the Tianwen Empire sounds like a good idea. Thank you for your hospitality, said Emperor Yu, smiling. Tiantai had dispersed, so Emperor Yu could spend time anywhere. I have some things to do though. I'm off. Emperor Devamara and the Empress of the 6 Desires didn't want to stay, they wanted to go back to Ba Huang. Everybody dispersed. 2 days later, in the mountain range of Tianwen Empire, there were 2 silhouettes in a valley, Emperor Yu and Lin Feng. Ho Qinglin and the others were in the distance with Feng Ling and Feng Xian. Lin Feng, Earth abstruse energy is extremely easy to study and understand because we're almost always on the Earth. Sense the strength of the Earth, sense its vitality, its existence, said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng, who was seated before him cross-legged. Teacher, I understand the concept, but actually understanding it is easier said than done, replied Lin Feng. Alright, your feet must be in contact with the ground, I will teach you how to sense it, said Emperor Yu calmly. Lin Feng nodded. Lin Feng put his feet on the ground and sensed the pulsations of the earth. After a short while, Lin Feng had a mysterious sensation, it was as if the earth was alive and breathing. Suddenly, Lin Feng sensed danger and moved back. Some sounds then came from the ground, and sharp energies seemed to be moving towards him. Bzzz. After Lin Feng moved away, a fissure appeared where he was initially standing. It continued crackling under his feet and he moved away again. The sensation was becoming more intense. Dust rose up and gigantic craters and canyons appeared. Energies seemed to be gathering under his feet as Lin Feng moved faster and faster. Lin Feng was moving around nervously. His perceptions became more acute the longer he avoided the attacks, but he had to be faster if he didn't want to play the victim. After a short time, the ground was riddled with gaping wounds. Lin Feng had dodged many attacks. After 7 days, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu still hadn't stopped. Meteorites were now falling from the sky. The meteorites continued aiming for Lin Feng as the sky was completely distorted, making things look rather ominous. "Sister, Emperor Yu is so kind to Lin Feng," said Feng Ling smiling at Feng Xian. "Our teacher is like that too. We must become stronger and repay our teacher," said Feng Xian smiling at Feng Ling in a gentle way. "Indeed," said Feng Ling nodding. Then, she continued watching Emperor Yu teach Lin Feng cultivation principles. They could also learn by watching. Chapter 1483, Celestial Walls Manor. 3 months later, Lin Feng was still in that mountain range, now sitting cross-legged and focusing. He wasn't fighting against the earth anymore, but he could still sense its every single pulsation. It was as if he had become part of the earth. Phew, Lin Feng took a deep breath and stood up. He started walking and energies rolled in waves around him. Canyons appeared under his feet. With the power of his thoughts, Lin Feng carved a gigantic word in the ground in the form of canyons. Earth energies are robust and imposing," whispered Lin Feng. He had a yellow earthy aura at that moment which looked like an armor. However, when he thought about something else, the armor disappeared. "Not bad, in 3 months, my earth abstruse energy is already level 8. Now I need to catch up with my fire abstruse energy," thought Lin Feng. He glanced at Emperor Yu in the distance and smiled, "Teacher. Very good. You will soon be going to the holy city. I'll take you somewhere else and then I think we can go back to Tianjing City and gather with your fellow disciples," said Emperor Yu smiling. Then, he looked at Feng Ling and Feng Xian. "Your teacher went back to the Qi Feng mountain and asked me to take care of you, so you should come with Lin Feng and me." "Thank you, Emperor Yu," they both replied politely. "Let's go." They rose up in the air together. Ho Qinglin and the others were gone already. "Teacher, where are we going?" asked Lin Feng standing on a cloud. "There is an ancient city in the Tianwen Empire. There is a manor there. The owner is an incredibly strong yet discreet cultivation emperor. He doesn't really care about worldly affairs. In his manor, there are walls which can help cultivators improve their understanding of the great force of the earth and sky. The name of the place is the Celestial Walls Manor," replied Emperor Yu. The group of people traveled across the sky in a cloud. Even if people passed by, they wouldn't see them. Just like Emperor Yu had said, the Celestial Walls Manor was in a small ancient town, in a small country of the Tianwen Empire. After Emperor Yu and the others arrived in the small city, they realized that the people in the city had low cultivation levels. Most of them were Xian level or Tian level cultivators, while Zun cultivators were extremely rare there. 6th Zun Qi layer, a group of young men looked at Lin Feng angrily and released their qi in the distance. They also noticed that the others were all quite strong. They couldn't see how strong Emperor Yu was though. "How come so many people come to the Celestial Walls Manor these days?" whispered the young man who had noticed them. Even though he whispered, Emperor Yu and the others heard him perfectly. Those people were locals, so they weren't used to seeing so many strong cultivators. "It's the same every 100 years, people come here to study the strength of the earth before going to the holy city," replied another one. Lin Feng was surprised, even though that place was secret, many people seemed to know about it. After a short time, they arrived in front of the gate to a gigantic manor. Lin Feng could already sense its incredible energies. That place seemed like it was one with the earth and sky. Lin Feng, we arrived. You go in alone and focus on studying the walls, said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng and the others. Then, he disappeared. Let's go in, said Lin Feng to Feng Xian and Feng Ling. They then entered the house, and nobody prevented them from entering. They walked down the main alley and saw some people in front of them. My name is Lin Feng, I just came to the Celestial Walls Manor to observe the walls, said Lin Feng. One of the young men smiled at Lin Feng and said, some people are already using them. Come back another day. We came from very far away and we don't have much time. If we need to pay anything, just tell us, said Lin Feng politely. The Celestial Walls Manor was a place hidden by an emperor. Lin Feng was a guest, so he had to be polite. There's no price. People can come, and we are happy to have guests. In normal circumstances, I would let you, but today is really not a good time. It would be better if you waited for a few days. I can help you find a place to sleep, as well as food and drink, said the young man politely. He was from the manor, so he had to be polite to guests. Lin Feng looked disappointed. Was it not a convenient time? You're lying, said someone at that moment. A silhouette appeared outside the manor. It was a young man who was smiling in a cold way and had his arms crossed on his chest. Lin Feng turned around and recognized that young man. He smiled and said, Brother Xiao Yu. Brother Lin, the Celestial Walls Manor was created by an incredibly strong cultivator. Anybody can come and use it as they wish. There's no such thing as convenient or inconvenient times here. He's lying to you, said Xiao Yu indifferently. The young man's facial expression suddenly changed as he glared at Xiao Yu. And you're an evildoer, said that young man. Lin Feng frowned. Xiao Yu was right. Why did people from the small town want to prevent him from going? The one who had created that place had wished that anyone could use it. So you just don't want me to go in, said Lin Feng to the young man. He sounded angry. The young man initially sounded polite and courteous, so he believed him, but it seemed that Xiao Yu was right. What was going on? I said it's not the right time, so it's not the right time. Leave now, said the young man. Lin Feng suddenly released sharp energies. Brother Xiao Yu, what's going on? Asked Lin Feng. A month ago, some people came here. You know them already because they were at the banquet in the Qi Empire. The locals found them nice and agreed to prevent other people from observing the walls while they were here. Those people want to have the walls for themselves is all. Said Xiao Yu. Lin Feng immediately understood, the messenger and the others. You're very smart, said Xiao Yu smiling. So they despise us, said Lin Feng smiling coldly. Seems like it, said Xiao Yu nodding and smiling. Lin Feng turned around and looked at the locals. Does the creator of this place agree with you doing this? The creator of this place is a hermit, he doesn't know what's going on here. He doesn't manage this place said Xiao Yu. Are you done talking? Asked the young man. You're right. Our teacher doesn't manage this place, but we do. Thank you for leaving, said the young man pointing at the exit. Chapter 1484, No Time to Waste with You. I came from very far away, so do you think I'll leave because you tell me to, said Lin Feng while slowly walking forwards. If there were rules, he would respect them, he would pay if he had to even. But this had nothing to do with rules. Who did the young men inside think they were? Do you think you can take over the Celestial Walls Manor or what? Said that young man. Before you, he already tried to go in, but we made him leave. If you fail to appreciate our kindness, don't blame us for being impolite. You don't need to justify yourself, said a girl next to him. Her friend was nice to Lin Feng because he was with Feng Ling and Feng Xian who were incredibly beautiful. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been that polite. That girl was jealous. Don't make things difficult for yourself. If you cause troubles, you will regret it, said the girl coldly. Many people came to the Celestial Walls Manor, they had even seen strong cultivators of the 8th and 9th Zun Qi layer even. Lin Feng had only broken through to the 6th while Feng Ling and Feng Xian were even weaker, so they didn't care much about them. I came here to see the walls, said Lin Feng walking forwards. The ground was crackling under his feet. You must want to die. When the young man saw that Lin Feng not only refused to leave but also threatened him, his robe started fluttering and he released a strong qi in return. Dong, one of the young men walked towards Lin Feng. The ground started shaking and a strong wind started blowing. 5th Zun Qi layer and his force is multiplied by 100. His qi is more powerful than the qi of an ordinary cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, thought Lin Feng sensing the young man's energies. The young man of the 6th Zun Qi layer was very strong and there were probably even stronger cultivators than him around. No wonder Xiao Yu had been kicked out. Bzzz. Lin Feng sensed the force of the earth and the sky surround his body. It was also multiplied by 100. At that moment, a light appeared which made people feel nervous. Force multiplied by 100, the crowd frowned. Lin Feng's force was also multiplied by 100 times. With the strength of the 6th Zun Qi layer, that was quite impressive, especially given that most cultivators first studied abstruse energies. My force is multiplied by 100 and I can force fuse together with my attacks, so I should be able to defeat him, thought the cultivator of the 5th Zun Qi layer as he faced Lin Feng. The cultivator suddenly became as large as an elephant and the ground broke from under his feet. Lin Feng's robe was fluttering and the ground shook. Break! Lin Feng suddenly jumped forwards. The opponent raised his feet and fissures appeared below them while qi and force floated around above. Piss off! Lin Feng jumped again. More rumbling sounds as his opponent had a mountain thrown at him, tossing him away. A silhouette rose up in the air and grabbed that person. Then he descended again while holding him. Not bad. Surprisingly, your force is also multiplied by 100. However, you still can't act recklessly here. Now apologize to my fellow disciple and I will allow you to come back some other time, said the cultivator of the 6th Zun Qi layer while he put his friend of the 5th Zun Qi layer on the ground gently. Bzzz, an oppressive strength surrounded him. Nobody replied to him, instead, force rolled in waves towards him. I'm not going to waste my time with you, said that cultivator while running towards Lin Feng. A strong wind started blowing again carrying qi and force. That attack could easily kill a cultivator of the 6th Zun Qi layer. Now, even if you kneel down and beg me, it's already too late, said that cultivator. He condensed more force which was now multiplied by 200. How scary, thought Lin Feng. He was also excited though. Lin Feng didn't want to give up, he wanted to study the walls and the manor even more after seeing these cultivators. That cultivator had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, so Lin Feng could also learn how to multiply his force by 200, at least. Kneeling down though? How ridiculous. Lin Feng just laughed. Force was a kind of strength. Did he think that force was enough to defeat Lin Feng? Slash, slash, the sound of something being cut sounded. The ground was shaking, and the wind was blowing strongly. Suddenly, in that terrifying force, Lin Feng appeared. I will show you what force really is, said the cultivator at the same time. However, he saw so many different silhouettes, he didn't know which one the real Lin Feng was. Boom boom, buzzing sound spread in the air. A fist descended from the sky, causing the earth to shake even more. He raised his head and his face suddenly turned deathly pale. Bam, the terrifying force dispersed, and that cultivator crashed onto the ground. A hand mark appeared on his face. Now, he was stroking his face because it hurt. I'm not going to waste my time with you, said Lin Feng. That cultivator stood up, his cheek was twitching. Lin Feng had slapped him. He didn't look so arrogant anymore. At the same time, sounds of steps came from deeper inside the manor. A group of people soon appeared. The leader was a beautiful girl who looked cold and arrogant. Chapter 1485, Invasion. Why did you come here? Asked the girl coldly. My name is Lin Feng, my two friends and I want to see the walls, said Lin Feng, walking forwards and releasing qi. You came for the walls or to cause trouble? Asked the girl. Suddenly, she ran towards Lin Feng with her fist raised. Her force was multiplied by 200 as well. You don't understand politeness. Lin Feng jumped forwards and used his deadly demon punch. His fist and his opponent's fist collided, an explosion sounded. Break, shouted Lin Feng. Qi rolled in waves and the girl was propelled away, blood spilling out of her mouth. She was surprised. You have only broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer, you shouldn't be the strongest one here, said Lin Feng, glancing at that girl in a cold way. He continued walking forwards. He fused his agility technique together with the ground. What an arrogant guy, thought the crowd. The Celestial Walls Manor had existed for so many years. Nobody had ever dared cause trouble there except for a month ago when a young man had come and had dared act arrogantly. And now, once again, a young man dared act arrogantly. However, that young man was a lot weaker than the one from a month ago. A powerful force moved towards Lin Feng. All the strong cultivators from the Celestial Walls Manor knew how to use force, so combining their forces together packed quite a punch. Slash, a sword light streaked ahead. Lin Feng jumped forwards while condensing his own force. He held sword energies in both hands. Since you don't want to let me in, I'll see myself in, said Lin Feng. His voice sounded as sharp as a sword. He released earth strength and wrapped himself up in it as well. Lights flickered as an axe appeared in Lin Feng's hand. He made earth abstruse energy fuse together with the axe and attacked with it. His strength crashed onto two people and made them fly away. They crashed onto a stone which easily exploded. Lin Feng was now holding his axe in his left hand and a sword in his right. One of them saw Lin Feng's eyes and sensed a demonic strength permeate their brain, affecting his determination. Piss off, said Lin Feng aggressively. That person's qi weakened, and then a terrifying force crashed onto his body. Like the two others before him, he was propelled away. The arrogant-looking girl glared at him again before she ran towards him and attacked. You're acting recklessly. If we were fighting to the death, you'd all be dead already, said Lin Feng. His eyes were pitch black and looked ice-cold. When he glanced at the crowd, they all shook. Lin Feng was confident that he could kill them all with only his cursing energies. Curse. Lin Feng didn't back down. He continued running forwards while releasing cursing strength. When the beautiful yet arrogant girl looked into his eyes, she felt like she was going to freeze over. Even though she talented while using force, she had only broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer. Back then, the great Oriental Greenfinch Rock, with his imperial weapon, his incredible speed, defense and attack still couldn't compete with Lin Feng's cursing strength. Die, said Lin Feng. The girl suddenly felt like she was going to die. Lin Feng's cursing energies were corroding her body and she started shaking. She looked at his eyes again and believed that Lin Feng could kill her instantly if he wanted. Bzzz. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and grabbed her by her throat and shouted, piss off. Gotcha. Lin Feng threw the girl at a rock. The girl was lying on the stone while coughing up blood. She didn't look arrogant anymore, quite the opposite, her face was deathly pale. Sister, Lin Feng can defeat cultivators at the very top of the Zun Qi layer, explained Feng Ling, Gotcha. Lin Feng punched someone else. That person's organs immediately tore, and they were propelled away. They couldn't withstand a single attack. Piss off, said Lin Feng while trampling the ground. The alley was completely ruined with fissures. Lin Feng released death-abstruse energy which surrounded the remaining people. Very quickly, Lin Feng's opponents were all on the ground, their faces were deathly pale. They were crawling on the ground and staring at Lin Feng in a cold way. "Sorry, but you didn't let me in, so I had to," said Lin Feng while glancing at them. He looked at Feng Xian and said, "Let's go." "How strong?" Xiao Yu, who was standing behind, smiled with admiration. He followed in too. They arrived at a long corridor. Lin Feng released his godly awareness and inspected the place. Many people wanted to stop Lin Feng, but he ignored them. He forced his way into the different rooms and courtyards. Finally, Lin Feng found a special place where the walls were shiny as if they had been polished. There were special energies residing in those walls. At that moment, there were some people studying there. Their cultivation levels were very high, and they were stronger than the people he had just fought against. Lin Feng had already seen some of them with the messenger. The others were probably people from the Celestial Walls Manor. The weakest cultivator was a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, while the strongest one was a girl. She was very beautiful, tall, and she had the strength of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Chapter 1486, Walls, "It's you," whispered one of the young men. He had seen Lin Feng in the Qi Empire. Even though Lin Feng's cultivation level was low, he was a terrifying cultivator. He had even killed a cultivator of the 9th Zun Qi layer. Lin Feng looked at them and knew that they were from the Holy City. Xiao Yu was right. People from the Celestial Walls Manor didn't let anyone in because of them. "Who is he?" asked the girl of the 9th Zun Qi layer, glancing at Lin Feng. He didn't have a high cultivation level but had managed to make it there. She knew that cultivation level and fighting abilities were two different things. She had said that she wanted nobody else there, but those people had managed to get in. "Lin Feng, you must have heard about him before." "He's famous," said that person to the girl while smiling. "Lin Feng," whispered a guy in purple clothes. "Lin Feng from the Ba Huang province. He's very famous, even abroad. Even in this small city we've heard about him. During the meeting of the emperors, he killed some of the emperor's sons. He even killed some people from the Qi clan in their own territory. I've heard about him too. I wouldn't have thought that he only had the strength of the 6th Zun Qi layer." "Not bad," said the girl, nodding. Lin Feng didn't say anything and just calmly listened to them. "He must have come for the walls." "What do you intend to do?" asked one of the young men from the Holy City with a smile. "What do you think I intend to do?" asked the beautiful girl. "Brother Gu hasn't shown up yet." "Wait for him, he doesn't like being disturbed by other people," said that young man happily. The beautiful girl nodded and said to Lin Feng, "You should come some other time. Now is not the right time." "Who is the owner of the Celestial Walls Manor?" asked Xiao Yu. "My teacher," said the beautiful girl indifferently. "I think the rule is that anyone can come and use it though," said Xiao Yu. "Indeed," said the girl, nodding. "Since it's that way, we're guests here." "Why do you want to prevent us from coming?" said Xiao Yu. "You're weak outside and you're weak in here," said the beautiful girl to Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu was getting more furious. His eyes turned pitch black. Lin Feng glanced at Xiao Yu and asked, "There's a door over there. We just want to observe the walls, should we?" "It seems like we should," said Xiao Yu, nodding. "Since it's that way, according to the rules, I can just go in and observe the walls," said Lin Feng. Xiao Yu smiled indifferently and said, "Indeed. So why do we waste time here talking to those useless people?" said Lin Feng. Then, he walked to the door and ignored them. Since those people despised him, he didn't need to take what they said to heart. Why pay attention to them? The group of people glanced at one another. Now they realized what it felt like to be humiliated, as they had humiliated those people before. Even though Lin Feng was famous and had done many incredible things, they didn't think they were any less than him. They practiced every day. Usually, people who weren't locals, at the same cultivation level, weren't stronger than them and didn't stand a chance while facing them. Those cultivators from the holy city were different though. Of course, they were just a small group of people from the holy city. Not everyone in the holy city was like them. "Capture him," said the beautiful girl. She suddenly seemed furious. Someone stood up and ran towards Lin Feng while releasing force which surrounded Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng sensed a force which was multiplied by 300 times. He stopped because that force made it difficult to breathe. Xiao Yu released demonic qi but didn't look happy. That cultivator had the strength of the 8th Zun Qi layer and his force was multiplied by 300 times, so he could oppress Lin Feng. Feng Ling and Feng Xian couldn't breathe and were instantly propelled away violently. Lin Feng took a step forwards and released sharp energies. He released cursing strength, and in a flash, the opponent's body turned black and lifeless. "Piss off!" Lin Feng jumped forwards and raised his fists. His opponent was suddenly much weaker because of the cursing energies. He used his deadly demon punch and that cultivator was immediately thrown away. He looked surprised, he even felt like he was going to die. Lin Feng glanced at him and continued walking forwards in a free and unrestrained way, as if he hadn't made any effort to fight. Lin Feng's cursing abstruse energy was level 8. Mixed with death abstruse energy, it was even more terrifying. "Next time, I won't be so merciful," said Lin Feng indifferently. The strong cultivators looked at him angrily. He had just defeated a cultivator whose force was multiplied by 300 times. His death energy is terrifying. Even a cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer can barely compete with him, thought those people. They looked hesitant now. Lin Feng was already in front of the door. Bzzz. The girl stood up, her silhouette flickered, and she was suddenly standing in front of Lin Feng. Her force surrounded his body, it was multiplied by 500 times. With her strength of the 9th Zun Qi layer, she was even more terrifying. "Die!" shouted Lin Feng furiously while releasing death and cursing energies. He stomped the ground and a huge fissure appeared. He then mixed death and sword energies and slashed the air in front him. At the same time, he also punched the door down. "Let's go." Feng Ling, Feng Xian and Xiao Yu followed. Lin Feng looked at those cultivators in a cold way. He shook his hands and sword energies moved towards them. Then, he crossed the door. After he crossed the door, he sensed a force surround his body. He raised his head and looked at the walls. A special strength emerged from them which were actually marks capable of oppressing their bodies. What an incredible strength. Surprisingly, force can turn into something almost physical which we can study, thought Lin Feng. Those walls were priceless. No wonder that people from the holy city came all this way to study them. As expected, someone was seated cross-legged. The walls were twinkling and the force was shining upon their body. Chapter 1487, Talent, Kacha. The door opened itself again. Lin Feng turned around and saw the beautiful girl. She was glaring at Lin Feng in a cold way, but she didn't seem like she wanted to attack. She couldn't attack there. Gu Li is still practicing cultivation. He's been studying force for a month already. I wonder how strong he's become, thought the girl while looking at Gu Li. Then, she walked aside and sat down cross-legged as well. Lin Feng glanced around. The force was illuminating everyone. The force here is multiplied by 100, so it can't oppress me, thought Lin Feng. Then, he looked at Feng Ling and Feng Xian. It was difficult for them, but they also looked excited, especially Feng Ling. Understanding force here is a lot easier than trying outside, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked towards one of the 8 walls. Then, suddenly, he couldn't move any further. Multiplied by 200. Lin Feng realized that each wall held a different strength. Force surrounded Lin Feng's body, making his muscles twitched. His blood started boiling as each part of his body was changing. "Sister, I think my body won't be able to endure it if I stay here too long. I could explode and die," said Feng Ling to her sister. Lin Feng heard her and thought she was right. A force multiplied by 200 was already too much for her. No wonder those people from the Celestial Walls Manor understand force so well, thought Lin Feng. If Lin Feng hadn't used his death-cursing energies, he wouldn't have been able to defeat that cultivator of the 8th Zun Qi layer. His force alone could oppress Lin Feng. The beautiful girl's force was even more terrifying, coupled with the strength of the 9th Zun Qi layer, her force was already multiplied by 500 times. Those people from the Celestial Walls Manor could take over Ba Huang if they wanted. What about the force in the center? How many times is it multiplied, thought Lin Feng looking at the young man in the middle. Lin Feng had also seen that young man before. It was the one who hadn't stood up when he raised his glass to Lin Feng. 300 times, I can handle that, thought Lin Feng as he arrived in front of the third wall. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. He knew that he couldn't spend too much time here, he would have to go back to Tianjing City at some point. Xiao Yu, Feng Ling and Feng Xian sat down too, but Feng Ling and Feng Xian sat down in front of the first wall, while Xiao Yu sat in front of the second. Time passed slowly. Lin Feng felt fine at the beginning, but after 2 hours, his muscles and bones hurt. After 4 hours, Lin Feng was sweating, and he was breathing quickly. Feng Ling and Feng Xian felt the same even though they were only in front of the first wall. Besides, Lin Feng's body had been cleansed by the lights of the gate in Tiantai, so even if the force hurt, it was also beneficial. He was learning and studying it. A new kind of force had even appeared inside his body. He was first oppressed, then he got used to it, then he blocked it and modified it, and then he learned how to use it. Gradually, Lin Feng adjusted to it. In the end, he could inhale and exhale force. 4 hours had passed. In the outside world, he wouldn't have such an opportunity in 1 month or even 1 year. Lin Feng moved, his muscles cracked from the pressure. It helps to understand force, but it also helps me become stronger and it improves my physical body, thought Lin Feng. He looked around and thought that the creator of those walls was incredible. I should be able to endure a force multiplied by 400 now, thought Lin Feng. He walked towards the fourth wall, instantly, the force oppressed him again. Lin Feng sat down and studied the force again, not wasting any time. 5 days later, Lin Feng walked towards the fifth wall. 9 days later, Lin Feng walked towards the sixth wall, where force multiplied by 600. Lin Feng thought he was going to explode under that incredible pressure. This time, he spent 6 days in front of that wall to get used to it. On the 7th day, he walked to the 7th wall. Lin Feng spent less time in front of the 7th wall though, only 4 days. After the 8th wall, he made a circle around. He was not far from the first wall, but the force there was a lot stronger than the one on the first wall. The force was more powerful and Lin Feng's understanding of force was becoming better. In front of the 7th wall, the beautiful girl opened her eyes and saw Lin Feng. She looked furious. Lin Feng only needed 20 days to study the force in that place. He was even faster than Guli. I wonder how strong his force has become, thought the girl. Studying and enduring force were two different things. Lin Feng had only sensed the force, he had endured and understood it. However, it was impossible that his force had been multiplied by 800 times, otherwise, he would have left already. The beautiful girl stood up and left. She had lived there for many years. Studying the force in there had become pointless for her, but for outsiders, it was a treasure. The beautiful girl's opinion about Lin Feng had changed. He was famous and even in the Celestial Walls Manor, he had proved how talented and gifted he was. Chapter 1488, The old man and the young man Feng Xian and Feng Ling were already waiting outside together. They had left a few days before after they gave up at the fourth wall. Those who were from the holy city weren't even that far. They talked about Gu Li and Lin Feng. Lin Feng was still in there. Even the fifth and sixth walls didn't scare him. He was determined, even if he had to kneel, he didn't care. He's been in there for so long, said a young man who was talking about Lin Feng. Only 20 days, that doesn't mean anything. We did the same too, said another one. Indeed. Those two beautiful girls are strong, but they didn't stay in there too long though. They're not too weak. The most important thing is that they're really beautiful though. Those people were talking about Feng Ling and Feng Xian now. Feng Xian was one of the four most beautiful women from Ba Huang province. She had voluptuous breasts, an incredible figure, and beautiful skin. Feng Ling was slender and elegant, even though she didn't look as sexy as Feng Xian, she still looked attractive. Huh, do you want to take them home? Said one of them laughing. That cultivator called Tian Ruo shrugged and said, if they haven't had sex yet, they couldn't be good wives. You should ask them if they'd agree to it, said another one. Tian Ruo glanced at Feng Ling and Feng Xian and smiled, marrying two sisters would be great, especially given their appearances. Feng Ling and Feng Xian looked furious. Feng Ling wanted to talk, but Feng Xian held her back. She smiled at that young man and said, sorry, we already have someone. Is that so? Said that young man while releasing qi which oppressed them. Feng Ling's heart started racing. Indeed. You've seen him. If you defeat him, my sister and I will consider you, said Feng Xian. She was furious but didn't show it. Feng Xian was convinced that if that guy fought against Lin Feng, he'd lose. Hee, that's a nice suggestion, said that young man smiling. I, Zhou Tian Ruo, am only too lucky. Huh, you're lucky indeed, you'll get to sleep with those two hot sisters, said the others laughing. Feng Xian controlled herself, but Feng Ling's cheeks were red, she was furious. Time passed slowly. Lin Feng had already been in there for almost a month. On the 30th day, two people emerged. One of them was an old man with a white beard who looked enigmatic. He had the demeanor of a transcendent being while also looking like a hermit. Then, he sat down on a cloud in the sky. Behind him was a young man, he was handsome and was wearing monk's clothes. Teacher, you're back, said some people who recognized the two silhouettes in the sky. They looked happy. Their teacher had taken a disciple with him and had left for a year. Now he was back. Outside of the room, the beautiful girl looked at them and rose up in the air. Teacher, disciple, you're back, finally. Sister, long time no see. You're becoming even more beautiful, said the young man in white clothes while smiling. You're flattering me. You've been traveling around a lot. Now that you've broken through to the 5th Zun Qi layer, you're progressing quickly. Your force must be as strong as mine even, said the beautiful girl. It's thanks to our teacher. He has made great efforts to teach me, said the young man. We've been through a lot after we went so far away. Even some emperors threatened us. Of course, we also had great opportunities. At a certain level, you should go and travel too, otherwise you'll always be a frog in a well, said the old man smiling. Then, they landed on the ground. Sister, that's the emperor, said Feng Ling surprised. That was the hermit of the manor. Yes. Feng Xian sensed it too. At that moment, the old man looked at Feng Ling and Feng Xian. Then he smiled at them indifferently. You seem talented. Continue practicing cultivation and a bright future will await you, said the old man smiling. Then, he looked at the young man from the holy city, surprised. They must have taken medicine to become that stronger. You must be from there, said the old man smiling thinly. They stood up as a sign of respect, even if they were from there. 100 years passed, as expected, more and more people come to the Celestial Walls Manor. So many guests this time, said the old man smiling in a gentle way. Then he looked at the room where the walls were and said, "Are there still people inside?" "3 people. One of them is from there. The 2 others are with those 2 girls." "Do you want to go in and see them?" asked the beautiful girl. "All right, I'll go in and see," said the old man, entering the room. After he entered, the door closed itself again. The old man observed the 3 people. One of them was in front of the 3rd wall and he was covered with sweat. The others were back to back in front of the 8th wall. 8 different sorts of force were surrounding their bodies, but they both looked calm and serene as if the outside world had nothing to do with them. The old man's facial expression changed. He looked intrigued. He left while smiling. "Not bad, not bad." "Teacher, you look excited," said the young man in white clothes, smiling. "2 of them in there are a lot stronger than you." "They're really incredible," said the old man, smiling. Apart from Guli, was he talking about Lin Feng? Dong! This time, the ground quaked as the door opened and someone came out. Incredible force, the girls suddenly turned around and looked at the door. Force spilled out from the room. There were 2 silhouettes who came out. They were both surrounded by an incredible force. "How's that possible?" thought the beautiful girl, astonished. She couldn't believe it. Lin Feng had only been in there for a month and his force was already more powerful than hers. How gifted was he? She was speechless. At that moment, Lin Feng noticed the young man standing next to him. Chapter 1489, Golden Holy Chi. Lin Feng and the young man in white clothes looked at each other while releasing force. It was as if 2 oceans were fighting against each other. Boom! They both punched the air in each other's direction at the same time. They didn't use any special power, just force. After their fists collided, they both smiled in a resplendent way. "I thought my force was stronger than yours," said the young man in white clothes, smiling happily. "You must be disappointed now," said Lin Feng, smiling. "Why would I?" "It inspires me," said the young man in white clothes, smiling. Their force disappeared, and they just laughed. The old man was surprised too. Fei Yang and that genius knew each other. "Lin Feng, that's my teacher. He's also the owner of the Celestial Walls Manor." "I wouldn't have thought you'd come here," said Yun Fei Yang. "Lin Feng from Tiantai, nice to meet you, master," said Lin Feng as he bowed before the old man. "Huh, so many geniuses. Emperor Yu and Emperor Shi are great teachers, I see." "You're both outstanding," said the old man, smiling. The owner of the Celestial Walls Manor was a hermit, but he knew about the ongoings of the outside world. He didn't ask anything, he just knew things. "So you joined Tiantai," said Yun Fei Yang. He knew about the influential imperial groups of Ba Huang. Then he introduced the beautiful girl. "That's my fellow disciple, Bei Yan Yun. That's my brother, Lin Feng. We traveled together and then we lost each other along the way," said Yun Fei Yang. Bei Yan Yun and Lin Feng glanced at each other. Bei Yan Yun looked embarrassed, but smiled and said, "Lin Feng, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were Fei Yang's friend. I'm too arrogant and know nothing. You're a genius and you're better than me in every way. You're outstanding too and very beautiful. I'm pleased to meet you," said Lin Feng, smiling. Bei Yan Yun had apologized, so he couldn't take such small things to heart, especially seeing how Yun Fei Yang and Bei Yan Yun were friends. "Fei Yang and you are such flatterers. No wonder you two are good friends," said Bei Yan Yun, smiling. She looked outstanding, and even if a man was angry at her, it was difficult not to forgive her with that smile. "Yan Yun, Feng Xian and Feng Ling are just my friends," said Lin Feng, smiling. "I see. They didn't say that though," said Bei Yan Yun, smiling thinly. Feng Xian even turned red. "Indeed, they said you were together. They said that if I defeated you, they'd consider me seriously," said Zhou Tianruo. Lin Feng and the others turned and looked at Zhou Tianruo. He had his arms crossed on his chest. They were probably just joking, said Bai Yenyun to Zhou Tianruo. I wasn't joking though. Besides, everybody heard them, said Zhou Tianruo while staring at the two girls. Hee, I want them, said Zhou Tianruo looking at them. Lin Feng turned to Feng Ling and Feng Xian. He wanted to force us to do things we don't want to do, so we had no choice but to say that, said Feng Ling. Lin Feng smiled in return. He looked at the people next to Zhou Tianruo, smiled indifferently and said, Did you hear them promise anything? Hee, we did, said one of the young men smiling evilly. Curse, said Lin Feng. Instantly, death-cursing energies surrounded him and started draining out his life. His face instantly turned deathly pale. Don't move, said Lin Feng to the others. You're insane, said Zhou Tianruo while furiously releasing gold qi. Lin Feng didn't even look at him, he only focused on the one he was cursing. Now, I just need to think about it and you'll die, said Lin Feng indifferently. That person's face looked gloomy. Lin Feng's death-cursing energies were powerful, his cultivation was getting weaker with each passing second. If I win against him, you'll kneel down to me, how about that, said Lin Feng pointing at Zhou Tianruo. Alright, said that person nodding while pulling a long face. Who else saw it? Lin Feng smiled thinly. He coldly glanced at Zhou Tianruo, his eyes were pitch black. That person's death and cursing abstruse energies are really powerful. He can even drain out people's lives, thought the crowd. Humph, my two friends said something because you're a worthless bastard who forces women to do things. I don't have much to say about such people, said Lin Feng. Indeed, let's fight, said Zhou Tianruo. He rose up in the air and released gold qi. A golden armor instantly formed around him. He did that straight away because he wanted to protect himself against Lin Feng's death-cursing energies. Come, shouted Zhou Tianruo furiously. In a flash, his golden qi turned into a sharp sword and moved towards Lin Feng at full speed. Feng Ling and Feng Xian looked worried. Those people came from the holy city. Chapter 1490, My Feet on Your Face. Top-level abstruse energy, he also knows some incredible skills. Gold abstruse energy seems to be the same as golden holy qi, thought Lin Feng, observing Zhou Tianruo. That armor wasn't a holy weapon, it was formed from his own qi. Zhou Tianruo could easily defeat cultivators at the top of the 9th Zun qi layer. But Lin Feng wasn't a pushover. Come here, shouted Zhou Tianruo while rising in the air. He was already 10,000 meters high in the sky. He rose up in the air because he was a guest and if they stayed too close to the ground, they would damage the celestial wall's manner. Sharp lights emerged from Lin Feng's eyes. The ground was shaking, and a furious ocean of energies had appeared in the sky. Even the force which had spilled out of the room was being pushed away and turning into smaller threads. The two fighters hadn't even punched each other, but their force and energies were already colliding. Slash, millions of threads of golden energies invaded the sky. A sword made of golden holy qi appeared in Zhou Tianruo's hand. Die, shouted Zhou Tianruo. His sword moved towards Lin Feng with incredible speed. Lin Feng jumped forwards and a metallic ringing sound chimed. Lin Feng used his deadly demon punch to block Zhou Tianruo's sword. Piss off, shouted Lin Feng furiously. His demon-cursing energies crashed onto Zhou Tianruo's head. His soul and godly awareness kept shaking while the wind was whistling sharply. Golden lights emerged from Zhou Tianruo's third eye, they were dazzling like the sun. Lin Feng's demon-cursing energies made him feel horrified, so he used his godly awareness to block them. His golden holy sword moved forwards, but he kept getting pushed back. Lin Feng's attacks were very powerful. Zhou Tianruo looked at Lin Feng's eyes and frowned. Lin Feng's fighting abilities surpassed his expectations. His demonic chi is terrifying and brutal, thought the crowd. Both Zhou Tianruo and Lin Feng were excellent fighters. Lin Feng used force, but Zhou Tianruo was able to oppress his force. Golden Holy Hand, shouted Zhou Tianruo. Instantly, gigantic and golden holy hands appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng released sword energies which contained immortal energies in return. Lacerate, shouted Zhou Tianruo extremely loudly. His golden sword energies lacerated the sky and neared Lin Feng. Die, shouted Lin Feng furiously. His sword chi was whistling. The golden energies and Lin Feng's sword chi collided, distorting the sky. Amongst Zun cultivators, they don't have many enemies, thought the crowd. Rumbling sounds spread in the air as Lin Feng jumped forwards. He was surrounded by force. Lin Feng was so fast. Several of his shadows appeared in the sky from just his speed alone. Holy marks, thought the crowd. Rudimentary holy marks had appeared in Lin Feng's silhouettes. Zhou Tianruo condensed golden holy sword energies, but he felt oppressed. A gigantic hand appeared and descended from the sky towards him. That was Lin Feng's holy gigantic punch with abstruse energies condensed inside. Break! Zhou Tianruo couldn't dodge. After blocking the attack, Zhou Tianruo looked even more desperate. He moved away and landed on a mountain. Lin Feng didn't look like he was struggling. He also jumped forwards and landed on the mountain. He raised his hands at the same time, as if he was condensing a mountain of energies. Zhou Tianruo shouted furiously. A golden energy surrounded him and the mountain. He was trying to form a golden mountain to protect himself. Cracks appeared, then metallic sounds rang. At that moment, Zhou Tianruo closed his eyes and released as much golden holy energy as possible. This is a skill I created, I will show you. I call it Holy Sky Destruction, said Zhou Tianruo. The crowd on the ground gasped with amazement. Zhou Tianruo looked like a holy entity as he used that attack. Boom, 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 an energy as powerful as a mountain appeared in front of Lin Feng. A gigantic sword also appeared in front of Lin Feng. It didn't contain any terrifying energies, but it contained pure aggressive energies as well as death and earth chi. Slash, a fissure appeared in the sky as Zhou Tianruo himself turned into a holy light lacerating the sky. Lin Feng jumped forwards. His own gigantic sword moved towards Zhou Tianruo. Boom! People's ears felt sore from the strident sounds. The swords met each other and Lin Feng punched Zhou Tianruo, causing his golden armor to crack. Lin Feng continued running towards Zhou Tianruo and jumped on top of him. He crushed Zhou Tianruo with his feet and half of Zhou Tianruo was buried in a mountain. How scary, thought the crowd. Zhou Tianruo had lost and Lin Feng had won by trampling him with his feet. Zhou Tianruo looked furious. He was fixedly staring at Lin Feng as he shouted, I created the Holy Sky Destruction skill myself, how could I lose? What kind of special power did you use? Lin Feng looked at him in a despising way and laughed, Holy Sky Destruction. All my attacks have a name because I created them all myself, said Lin Feng in a disdainful way. Chapter 1491, News. Zhou Tianruo was aghast, he felt humiliated. He had always thought that his Holy Sky Destruction technique was extremely powerful, and he was proud because he had created it himself. His self-confidence had been crushed. Die, shouted Zhou Tianruo furiously. Fissures appeared in the ground as a terrifying strength hovered overhead again. Lin Feng rose up in the air and released more sword energies. That's enough, said someone after seeing that Lin Feng and Zhou Tianruo had continued fighting. Lin Feng turned around and saw the old man smiling at them, you're going to destroy my manor. Lin Feng glanced down and saw that several small pavilions and houses were already broken. He felt embarrassed, so he smiled and said, I'm so sorry, master. Lin Feng smiled and recalled his qi. He glanced at Zhou Tianruo. Zhou Tianruo was still releasing golden holy qi and his eyes were filled with flames. But Lin Feng ignored him and descended from the sky. The young man on the ground whom Lin Feng had cursed a moment before didn't even dare look at Lin Feng anymore. I defeated him. Kneel down in front of the two women and apologize, said Lin Feng calmly. He opened his mouth, his lips twitched, and his face was pale. How dare you? Zhou Tianruo's was still upset. Shut the hell up, you trash, said Lin Feng glancing at Zhou Tianruo with his demonic eyes. Anyone can make a mistake, forgive them when possible, said Gu Li indifferently. The young man looked like he had hope again. Gu Li was stronger than Zhou Tianruo, so he could oppress Lin Feng. I don't think that if I hadn't won against him, he would have let the girls off, said Lin Feng glancing back at Gu Li. Since he tried to force them to do things they didn't want to do, he must apologize. I'm not going to ask this a third time. Now, go, kneel down and apologize, said Lin Feng again, this time while releasing death qi. He looked at Gu Li, but Lin Feng's death qi was becoming more and more intense. His life was being drained, his face turned gray, he was starting to shake uncontrollably. He thought he was going to die. He knew that begging for help was useless at this stage. Even if Gu Li could maybe defeat Lin Feng, it wouldn't prevent Lin Feng from killing him beforehand. He looked into Lin Feng's pitch-black eyes again and then slowly walked towards Feng Ling and Feng Xian. He knelt and said, I'm so sorry. Feng Ling groaned coldly, showing her distaste for him. Piss off, shouted Feng Xian furiously. That young man raised his head, stood up, clenched his fists and released energies. Bzzz, a death qi surrounded his body. He turned to Lin Feng and shouted, no. Dull and stupid, you must want to die, said Lin Feng while releasing more cursing qi. At the same time, he released fire energies which surrounded the guy's body and he burnt to death. He's not easy to deal with, thought the crowd. Even Yun Fei Yang was surprised. Zhou Tianruo was furious. That guy was with him and Lin Feng had killed him mercilessly. Lin Feng sensed that Zhou Tianruo was releasing golden holy qi again, so he coldly glanced at him and said, I know you have an imperial weapon, but if you act in a hostile way in front of me again, I don't mind fighting you to death, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng could sense that something was protecting Zhou Tianruo's body, something that contained cosmic energies. It would be very difficult to kill Zhou Tianruo. Besides, Gu Li was stronger than Zhou Tianruo. If Zhou Tianruo had an imperial weapon, it maybe meant that Gu Li must have one too. Zhou Tianruo looked upset again. He did have an imperial weapon, but he could only use it when he was in danger. Lin Feng, said someone at that moment. Lin Feng gazed into the distance and smiled, Ruo Xie, Qing Tian, what are you doing here? Lin Feng, our brother told us to inform you that the date and place of the meeting has changed. It's postponed by 1 month and it will be in the western part of Ba Huang, in Tianlong Mountains, said Ruo Xie to Lin Feng using telepathy. The Tianlong Divine Castle was Tianlong Divine Castle's headquarters. There was something weird going on. Lin Feng glanced at Feng Ling and Feng Xian, then he continued, Lin Feng, the situation in Ba Huang is getting more and more intense. The Imperial Assassin Union aren't hiding their intentions anymore. They killed the Emperor from the Qi Feng Mountain and our site in Tianjing City is occupied. The Emperor of the Qi Feng Mountain is dead. Lin Feng looked furious. Another emperor had died. He knew that the Imperial Assassin Union wouldn't give up after their failure in the Qi Empire. Emperor Qi Feng shouldn't have gone back, but he had thought he'd be safe in the Qi Feng Mountains. Maybe he knew this would happen, which was why he had asked Emperor Yu to take care of Feng Ling and Feng Xian before. Lin Feng didn't look at them. He didn't know how to tell them the bad news. Wuxia and Mo Qin Tian looked at the crowd and then bowed before the old man. "Master, you have our teacher's greetings." "Back to him," said the old man, smiling indifferently. "We will tell him." They waved and said, "We hope we didn't disturb you." Then, they left. Chapter 1492, The Light Beam. Lin Feng didn't follow them. During the next month, Wuxia and Mo Qin Tian probably had their own things to do. The 12 direct disciples of Tian Tai had already become quite strong. If they didn't encounter anyone on the verge of becoming an emperor, they were quite safe. "I should go too," thought Lin Feng. Then he smiled at Yun Fei Yang and said, "Fei Yang, Jun Mo Shi is the leader of the Celestial Palace of the Immortals. It's a pity that we didn't meet in Ba Huang, otherwise, we would have gotten a few drinks." "What are your plans now?" "The same as you," said Yun Fei Yang, smiling. Then, they both laughed. Lin Feng took out a bottle of hot unit and threw it at Yun Fei Yang. "If you miss me so much, let's have a drink. That's the strongest drink you can find. We will meet again in the holy city." "We will," said Yun Fei Yang, laughing. Yun Fei Yang, Jun Mo Shi and Lin Feng had been good friends for a long time now and had traveled together. "I'm off," said Lin Feng, nodding at Yun Fei Yang and the old man. "Mister, see you." "All right, take care," said the old man politely. Lin Feng walked to Feng Ling and Feng Xian, then his gigantic sword appeared. They all jumped on it and rose up in the air. Nobody prevented them from leaving, not even Zhou Tianruo. His golden holy chi gradually disappeared, but he watched Lin Feng leave with a cold glare. "If I have the opportunity, I'll definitely kill him in the future," thought Zhou Tianruo. Bai Yanjun watched as Lin Feng left. She didn't know what to think about him. Lin Feng hadn't been very polite in the first place. Many outstanding and strong cultivators came to that small town, but they all respected her. People from the Celestial Walls Manor usually despised everyone else because they were adepts at controlling force. She didn't know much about the outside world though. She didn't realize that there were incredible cultivators in the outside world. In the distance, Lin Feng's gigantic sword was flying in the sky. Lin Feng was seated and looking at the two beautiful girls. Feng Ling was giggling and staring back at Lin Feng. Feng Xian was also smiling. They looked happy. Lin Feng's heart was pounding. He felt so sad for them. He knew how close they were to Emperor Qi Feng, like a grandfather and his granddaughters, they were very close. They had even promised him they'd stay with him. Now, he was dead, and they didn't know what to think about that. Lin Feng didn't know what to say now. Never mind, they will find out about that when the right time comes, thought Lin Feng. The two girls were still smiling, they both looked so happy, and Lin Feng didn't want to ruin their mood. His sword streaked across the sky above the Tianwen Empire. Using a portal was the best way to travel back to the Ba Huang province. 3 days later, Lin Feng arrived in the southern part of Ba Huang. It was the second time he'd been there. The first time he had immediately ended up in Shui Bai Yao's room in the celestial land of alchemists. This time, he was in Fire Mountain. Feng Ling and Feng Xian initially wanted to go to the Qi Feng Mountain when they were in the void between Jiuyu and Ba Huang, but Lin Feng couldn't let them go there. Emperor Qi Feng was dead, so the situation was probably chaotic there. Lin Feng had managed to tell them the truth, and they were emotionally stronger than what Lin Feng had thought. They didn't smile anymore though, and Feng Ling, who loved talking, remained silent. Lin Feng said it was better to go back to the southern part of Ba Huang and didn't talk about the Qi Feng Mountain again. Feng Ling and Feng Xian didn't have any objections. They knew Lin Feng was treating them well. In the Fire Mountain, there used to be Emperor Yan, but he had died in the Qi Empire. Fu He had to dismantle the Fire Mountain, but in the end the Watcher's father had said that if anyone dared attack those whose emperor had died, they'd regret it. The guards who guarded the portal to Fire Mountain didn't prevent Lin Feng from crossing after they saw him. There are still some people, but the atmosphere here is a bit sad, thought Lin Feng, rising into the air. Nobody paid attention to Lin Feng. People were still mourning over Emperor Yan. If nobody broke through to the Huangqi layer quickly, then Fire Mountain would be wiped off the map. Even with an emperor, safety wasn't guaranteed. I wonder how Fu He is feeling, thought Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Fu He had received Emperor Yan's fire cosmic energy. Lin Feng had used it and now his fire abstruse energy was level 8. He felt grateful and had compassion for the Fire Mountain. CRRR, CRRR, fire was burning all around them. In the north, huge flames dashed to the skies, causing the sky to reflect a particular shade of crimson. Is someone practicing cultivation there? How strong, thought Lin Feng. Then the flames exploded in the sky. Lin Feng looked at Feng Xian and Feng Ling and said, "Let's go." This time, their goal was to learn more about what had happened in the Qi Feng Mountain. Feng Ling and Feng Xian nodded, and they continued traveling. Boom boom, another loud bang sounded. Lin Feng, Feng Ling and Feng Xian's hearts started racing violently. Everybody in the surroundings was shaking and shivering. There were countless fireballs in the sky which had all exploded. Lin Feng and the others turned around and looked towards Fire Mountain. There was a light made of fire which had created fissures in the sky. The southern part of Ba Huang was extremely vast, but everyone in the territory was looking up at the sky. In the celestial land of alchemists, Emperor Dan suddenly stood up and looked angry. "Who's that?" said Emperor Dan coldly. It couldn't be Fu He because his fire was much weaker. It wasn't the first time that Lin Feng had seen such a light. The first was when he broken the seal on the 3 live scriptures. This time, a fire had pierced the sky. Lin Feng was surprised, that was fire cosmic energy, but who had fire cosmic energy in the Fire Mountain which had fallen? Even if it was the first time Lin Feng had seen such a thing, he knew what it meant. Someone had broken through to the Huangqi layer. Lin Feng, just like Emperor Dan, was wondering who had broken through to the Huangqi layer. In the southern part of Ba Huang, many people rushed to Fire Mountain as fast as they could. The fastest ones were those from the celestial land of alchemists because they had the tunnel. "Let's go back and see," said Lin Feng. Just who could have broken through to the Huangqi layer? After a short time, everyone in the Ba Huang province knew that someone new had become an emperor. Chapter 1493, Yan Di, Fu He is practicing cultivation, so has he broken through to the Huangqi layer, thought some people, even though they knew that wasn't possible. Fu He still had a long way to go before breaking through to the Huangqi layer. But apart from Fu He, who in the Fire Mountain could break through to the Huangqi layer? Could it be Yan Lai, thought the crowd. Yan Lai was at the top of the Zunqi layer, so it was probably him. No, he's there, some people saw Yan Lai in the crowd with them. Bzzz, a terrifying ball of energy exploded, and a silhouette appeared. Emperor Dan arrived. People from the Fire Mountain hated him. Emperor Dan had dared come to the Fire Mountain because Emperor Yan had died. Who became an emperor? "Please show yourself," said Emperor Dan loudly. His voice caused the fire energies to move chaotically about. People from Fire Mountain were even more furious. Emperor Dan dared disturb someone who was breaking through to the Huangqi layer. He was going too far. Emperor Dan wanted to say something else but Lin Feng shouted, "Emperor Dan." Emperor Dan turned to Lin Feng and said coldly, "What do you want?" "Emperor Dan, he's breaking through to the Huangqi layer, you need to wait until he's done," said Lin Feng. Emperor Dan glared at Lin Feng in a cold way. Then, his chi surrounded Lin Feng. "Who the hell are you to tell me what I have to do?" A terrifying force made Lin Feng and everyone else around him start sweating. "I'm not telling you what to do, Emperor Dan, it's just that the situation in Ba Huang is unstable. Someone is breaking through to the Huangqi layer, that's one more person who'll be able to protect us against the Imperial Assassin Union." We need such people now more than ever, said Lin Feng. Even though he was being oppressed, his facial expression hadn't changed. Humph. I'm happy too, of course. I came here as fast as I could, that proves how happy I am. Emperor Dan retorted in a cold way. However, you're a young man and you caused trouble in the Qi Empire, we haven't settled our accounts yet. Hee hee. Emperor Dan, even though you're an emperor, you're still attacking my disciple. We should settle accounts now, said a voice at that moment. Lin Feng smiled and shouted, Teacher. Emperor Dan dares disturb someone who's breaking through to the Huang Qi layer, that's outrageous. Emperor Dan, does it mean you're on the Imperial Assassin Union side? Asked someone else. It was Emperor Devamara. He had also released Qi to oppress Emperor Dan. Emperor Dan's excuse is ridiculous. He just came to disturb that cultivator, said Emperor Wen as he arrived as well. The three emperors surrounded Emperor Dan and oppressed him. You're trying to accuse me? Well, you're joining hands to put pressure on me, that could also mean that you're helping the Imperial Assassin Union. We're just considering facts. If you touch my disciple again, Emperor Shi and I will destroy the celestial land of alchemists. Said Emperor Yu. Everybody was surprised at how aggressive Emperor Yu had become. Besides, Tiantai had two emperors, so they had no reason to hesitate in destroying the celestial land of alchemists if they bullied their disciples. Good, very good, said Emperor Dan. Emperor Yu didn't look at him again. He looked at Feng Ling and Feng Xian and said, Your teacher asked me to take care of you. You don't need to go back to the Qi Feng Mountain anymore, instead you can stay with me from now on. Feng Ling's eyes twinkled. She wanted to say something but Feng Xian talked first, Thank you very much, Master Yu. Even though they wanted to go back to the Qi Feng Mountain to have a look, Emperor Yu was telling them not to, which meant he knew it was better not to. Don't be too sad. Practice cultivation as hard as you can, and you will be able to avenge your teacher's death someday, said Emperor Yu. Feng Ling and Feng Xian agreed with that. More and more people arrived. Emperor Qi, Emperor Tianlong, Emperor Xiaoyao and the others all arrived. Emperor Dan, Emperor Qi and Emperor Tianlong stayed grouped together. Emperor Si Kong wasn't there anymore because he was dead. Emperor Si Kong had died, so now Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Qi had Emperor Dan on their side. The cosmic energy was gradually weakening, and the fire was becoming even more terrifying. Very soon after, the new emperor appeared. Ba Huang hadn't had any new emperors for hundreds of years now. At that moment, from inside the fire, some black threads appeared. The crowd was surprised. That cultivator wasn't a cultivator from the Fire Mountain. Lin Feng suddenly smiled, he looked happy. He knew that would happen, he had even guessed so. That guy had disappeared for so long, so he had been hiding in Fire Mountain all along. Finally, he broke through to the Huang Qi layer, thought Lin Feng smiling happily. Fire continued rolling in waves like a furious ocean. A silhouette appeared, that cultivator was seated cross-legged on a pitch-black demon lotus. He had a Taoist robe on, and he had the demeanor of a transcendent being. Fu Hei is there too, thought the crowd. Next to the Taoist monk, there was a dark young man who was also on a lotus. They looked very close. But when the Taoist monk opened his eyes, he didn't have the demeanor of a transcendent being anymore. He frowned and narrowed his eyes. He looked fierce and ferocious. Many emperors instantly released a terrifying qi at him. People were caught off guard, what was going on? Emperor Peng, Emperor Qi, Emperor Xiaoyao, Emperor Tianlong, a few emperors looked at that cultivator in a cold way. Emperor Wen was also glaring at him as he shouted furiously, That's that bastard. When Lin Feng heard Emperor Wen shout like that, he was suddenly soaked in a cold sweat. That guy had offended 8 emperors in Xueyu after all. Even though some of the emperors had died, some of those who were still alive were in front of him. Who is the bastard who dared disturb me, a great emperor? while I was becoming an emperor. People were speechless. That Taoist monk narrowed his eyes and shouted furiously. And on top of that he called himself a great emperor who had become an emperor. How arrogant. A new and ordinary emperor actually dares call himself a great emperor. Emperor Dan smiled coldly. You bastard, you should remember what you did in Shuiyu, said Emperor Peng. He threw himself at Yan Di. You dared fool emperors and now you actually show your face again, said Emperor Qi. Damn Taoist monk. You finally showed up, yelled Emperor Tianlong. Chapter 1494, Arrogance. Everybody knew about the monk who had fooled emperors in Shuiyu, but apart from people who had seen it with their own eyes, many people were skeptical, but now they had the proof it wasn't a mere legend. That guy is brave, thought many people. Yan Di was just seated on his demon lotus and looked indifferent. He didn't fear the other emperors at all. What is it? Do you want to settle accounts now? Said Yan Di smiling. I've become an emperor, so I'm in a very good mood. Piss off, all of you. Don't disturb me while my cultivation is stabilizing, said Yan Di while waving at those people indifferently. He called all those emperors a bunch of insects. Oh my, thought Lin Feng speechless. Yan Di was insane. Everybody was astonished, even the people from Fire Mountain. Even though he wasn't from Fire Mountain, he had broken through to the Huang Qi layer in Fire Mountain. Besides, he was a fire cultivator, and Fu He and him seemed close. If he took control over Fire Mountain, it would ease a lot of their concerns. How insane, thought Emperor Wen speechless. That damn monk. Emperor Wen, said Lin Feng at that moment. Emperor Wen looked at Lin Feng. Mister, that's just his temperament. He offended you back then, but please don't be angry, he's one of my best friends. Please forgive him, said Lin Feng smiling wryly while using telepathy. Emperor Wen was speechless after he heard Lin Feng, one of Lin Feng's best friends. Back then, in Fortune City, the diviner said his purpose in life was to protect me. When Tian Gu and when Ao Shui would recognize him. I'm not lying, said Lin Feng when he saw Emperor Wen's eyes looking doubtful. After a few seconds, Emperor Wen smiled and said, all right, since it's that way, I won't annoy him. Your friend is a wily one. Indeed, said Lin Feng. Emperor Wen forgave Yan Di because they had an alliance, and now that Yan Di was an emperor, that was one more added to their alliance. Emperor Peng, Emperor Qi, Emperor Tianlong and the others weren't going to forgive him though. They were furious, their energies were getting colder and colder. You're very ignorant, yelled Emperor Qi. Emperor Peng released golden energies which surrounded his body like an armor. A little bird dares act arrogantly in front of me. Good, I needed a bird to ride. Come here, I'll take you as a pet, said Yan Di indifferently, looking at Emperor Peng. He sounded very amused. Emperor Peng looked incredibly furious, perhaps the most upset he had ever been. Dazzling golden lights illuminated the sky as he opened his wings, which were hundreds of meters wide. Die, shouted Emperor Peng. A golden light shot out towards Yan Di suddenly and black fissures appeared. A strong wind started blowing, forcing the crowd to move away. Go, said Yan Di. Yan Di and Fu He quickly moved away. Boom boom. Terrifying flames made Fire Mountains start shaking violently. Everyone ran back as fast as they could. Even the emperors were stupefied. Emperor Peng had disappeared in those energies. Caw! Emperor Peng shouted, but the crowd still couldn't see him though. He's insane, thought Lin Feng. He had almost forgotten how crazy Yan Di was. He had known Yan Di for a long time, but he still didn't know all his secrets or how strong he really was. Terrifying sounds were followed by an eerie silence. The fire finally dispersed and Emperor Peng appeared again. However, the crowd was astonished by what they saw. Emperor Peng's armor was broken, and he was soaked in blood. Blood was dripping from the sky. Even his wings had lost a lot of their luster. Emperor Peng's defense was the best in Ba Huang, and now, one attack had sufficed to gravely injure him. The scene was incredible. Emperor Peng seemed lost as he glanced around. Yen Di appeared again in the sky above Emperor Peng and said, "What a pity, I wanted to eat some roasted great oriental greenfinch rock, that would have been tasty." Caw. Emperor Peng felt incredibly humiliated. He continued releasing gold cosmic energy, as what seemed like a million sharp golden arrows appeared around him. Yen Di performed a knife hand strike in the sky and a hole appeared. All the golden arrows effortlessly flew into that hole and disappeared. That's, Emperor Wen was astonished and speechless. Who was that guy? How could he be friends with Lin Feng? "Come and fight," shouted Emperor Peng furiously. "Humph. If he comes out, he'll just die." "He's only hiding now," said Emperor Dan mockingly. "You little piece of trash, if you continue, I will kill you. I will then abandon your miserable body in the Fire Mountains," said Yen Di whilst glancing at Emperor Dan. He didn't want to fight against Yen Di. He just wanted to infuriate him some. Emperor Dan remained silent. Then Yen Di said, "You useless piece of trash. You're such a bad cultivator, yet you dare open your filthy mouth in front of me. If I were you, I wouldn't have come here, you're only humiliating yourself." Phew, Emperor Dan took a deep breath. "And you're Emperor Qi. I heard that you like bullying young people. I've just broken through to the Huang Qi layer, so I'm not used to it yet. Do you accept fighting against me to help me learn about this new cultivation level?" said Yen Di to Emperor Qi. "I'll help you," shouted Emperor Peng in a cold way. "It's not your turn yet. All of you, we will see if you're just trashy emperors or if you're strong. If you're not strong, piss off. From now on, Fire Mountain is my territory," said Yen Di aggressively. Then, he looked at Emperor Qi again and said, "Open your mouth and talk. I fooled you in the past, now I'm here, so you can get your revenge. If you don't fight, you'll only lose face. If that's the case, you and the pieces of trash next to you can piss off. Otherwise, I'll slap your faces silly." Emperor Qi was furious. If he refused to battle, he'd lose a lot of face. "Let's fight," said Emperor Qi looking serious. Yen Di just smiled and said, "Since you want to settle accounts with me, just come one after the other. Of course, if you want to join hands and fight against me, I don't mind." "He's really shameless," thought Lin Feng rolling his eyes. That guy was insane. Together? If he really didn't mind them joining hands, he wouldn't have said it. Instead, he would have attacked immediately, and they would have counterattacked altogether. Now that he had said that though, the emperors couldn't join hands, otherwise, they'd lose face regardless. Chapter 1495, Insane Yen Di. After that, Yen Di moved higher up in the sky and reached the clouds. "I'm a new emperor, so I still need to learn how to control my energies. Give me time to get used to it." Emperor Qi jumped forwards. Give him time? Was that a joke? He just wanted to kill him. After one step, he released empty space cosmic energy and Emperor Qi disappeared. Then the space around Yen Di was sealed. Eh? Yen Di frowned. He looked confused. "Break!" shouted a voice furiously. Yen Di was seemingly stuck in empty space cosmic energy. However, he jumped forwards and lacerated the empty space cosmic energy, then fissures appeared. After Emperor Qi attacked Yen Di, a fire pattern flashed. Then, terrifying fire cosmic energy invaded the space and burnt the empty space energies. Dong! Yen Di jumped, but there were fire patterns all around him. Yen Di had a demon lotus resting in his hand. He then stretched out his hand and the demon lotus collided with Emperor Qi's empty space cosmic energy. Then the fire pattern became even more dazzling. Emperor Qi felt threatened. He continued releasing more and more empty space cosmic energy, almost frantically. "Constriction," shouted Yen Di. His demon lotus turned into threads of black fire which surrounded Emperor Qi's body. "Rise," said Yen Di. The fire patterns almost seemed alive as they flew towards Emperor Qi. Boom, an infinity of flames dashed to the skies, causing the sky to look like it was burning. Emperor Qi wanted to jump into an empty space, but at that moment, he heard Yen Di laugh evilly. Emperor Qi's empty space burnt instantly, and his empty space energies were weakening. The crowd on the ground was amazed, their muscles were twitching, especially those who had had tensions with Yen Di. They could sense that his cosmic energies weren't weak at all. He was not any weaker than Emperor Qi. Even if Emperor Qi had gone into the empty space, Yen Di's flames would have reached him. Emperor Qi's empty space cosmic energies seemed so weak in front of Yen Di, thought Lin Feng. His blood started boiling as a gigantic and terrifying empty space picture scroll appeared. Then a terrifying empty space cosmic energy dashed to the skies. His picture scroll surrounded his body, then he glared at Yen Di menacingly. Yen Di took a small step forwards, and then the flames gradually disappeared. A strong wind started blowing in the empty space. Then, the empty space energies continued condensing, but the crowd couldn't see Yen Di. Amongst all the emperors there, none of them dared think they were stronger than that Taoist monk. His cosmic energies weren't overly powerful, but his control of them was amazing. "Why are you so far away?" "I just want to practice." "I don't want to kill you," said Yen Di mockingly. "I'll show you," shouted Emperor Peng furiously, turning into a golden light. "I will help you, little bird," shouted Yen Di furiously. Emperor Peng continued using a few agility techniques, so even the space around him became distorted. He was flapping one wing at full speed and fanning the fire away. At the same time, he was using the other wing to attack Yen Di. Gold and wind cosmic energies dashed to the skies. The crowd was baffled because Yen Di didn't dodge the attack. Instead, he jumped onto his fire pattern and moved towards the wing. Yen Di created a fire pattern in his hand and threw it towards the wing. Yen Di did this all while remaining very calm. Dong! The crowd watched as Yen Di flew away a few dozens of hundreds of meters. However, Emperor Peng shouted furiously. His wing was broken, only torn flesh remained, and blood was dripping unceasingly. His wing was contaminated with fire cosmic energy. And people said he had the best defense in Ba Huan, thought the crowd. People considered Emperor Peng as the best in terms of speed and defense. "Your defense is good, you little bird." "I'll just be helping myself to a piece of roasted bird then," said Yen Di, but nobody dared laugh at his joke. If Emperor Peng couldn't kill him, then nobody else could. Emperor Yen has fallen. Now, a new friend has appeared, which is a good thing for Fire Mountain and for the Ba Huang province. "Let's forget about our conflicts for now," said Emperor Yu. Yen Di was extremely strong. He could help them fight against the Imperial Assassin Union. "Indeed, I didn't like him at first, but now I want to be friends with him." "Let's all do that," said Emperor Wen. "Humph. What if he belongs to the Imperial Assassin Union and has managed to take control of the Fire Mountain," said Emperor Qi. "Even if your clan was a part of the Imperial Assassin Union, he couldn't possibly be," said Lin Feng, smiling in a cold way. "You little boy, I don't need your help to deal with them," said Yen Di. "You bastard. Don't talk to me that way," said Lin Feng furiously. "Lin Feng, do you know him?" asked Emperor Yu to Lin Feng. "Teacher, you also know him," said Lin Feng giggling. Emperor Yu couldn't know that it was Cheong Qi whom he had seen on the flight of stairs back then. "You little bastard. How dare you talk to me that way," shouted Yen Di suddenly. Emperor Yu was confused, but Lin Feng glanced at him, giving him reassurance. "He's aggressive and arrogant, but he's my friend." We came to the Ba Huang province together, said Lin Feng to Emperor Yu, making him laugh. You should stay here and take control over Fire Mountain. I intended to do that. I'm now the leader of Fire Mountain. Whoever dares come here and cause trouble will have to face me, said Yan Di in a calm and serene way. The emperors who hated him couldn't say anything though because they couldn't defeat him. But people from Fire Mountain had hoped he'd stay anyways. Chapter 1496. This world Yan Di was very strong. He controlled holy marks, cosmic energies, skills and techniques which were all incredible. He had even oppressed Emperor Peng. Piss off now. Do you need me to kick you out? Said Yan Di to Emperor Qi and the others in a cold way. Hee, congratulations for taking control over Fire Mountain, said many people before leaving. Very quickly, most everyone dispersed. Even though Emperor Qi was furious, he knew he couldn't defeat Yan Di. After breaking through to the Huang Qi layer, nobody had ever humiliated or even injured Emperor Peng. Emperor, do you intend to stay here? Asked Lin Feng to Yan Di. After all the emperors left, only the people from Fire Mountain, Emperor Yu and the others remained. Do you want to stay here too? I can teach you more about fire cultivation, said Yan Di. Even though he was a great emperor from the previous world, he had come back to life using only a small thread of consciousness, and now he had broken through to the Huang Qi layer. He still needed to stabilize his cultivation. Otherwise, he would have easily killed the rock. I'll come back another time. You should make your cultivation more stable in the meantime, said Lin Feng smiling. He understood what he meant. Teacher, where are you going? Asked Lin Feng to Emperor Yu. I'm going to take them to the Qi Feng Mountain. Lin Feng, don't forget our meeting in the western part of Ba Huang in 1 month, said Emperor Yu indifferently. Feng Ling and Feng Xian were touched by Emperor Yu's words. Let's go, said Emperor Yu. Then, he left. Emperor Devamara looked at Lin Feng and smiled. You should become stronger too, and once you become an emperor, don't forget our deal. Then, Emperor Devamara glanced at Yan Di in a deep and meaningful way and left. After they left, Lin Feng went to the mountain. Bathing in flames, he said, Emperor, I have a question. Go ahead, replied Yan Di. Why do energies pierce the sky once a cultivator breaks through to the Huang Qi layer? Asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng, you should know some things now. I'm going to take you somewhere, said Yan Di as he grabbed Lin Feng's arm. Then, they flew up into the air. They pierced through the clouds and Lin Feng sensed a strength which oppressed him. He couldn't see the ground anymore. He had never been that high up in the sky. Yan Di continued pulling Lin Feng higher into the sky. Were they going to reach space? Finally, in front of Lin Feng, the limit of the sky appeared. Do you understand now? Asked Yan Di. Lin Feng stretched his hand and touched the limit. It was palpable. They could touch the sky with their hands. The sky had a limit. In Lin Feng's previous world, the sky didn't have a physical barrier, but in the cultivation world, it did. Most cultivators couldn't go that high in the sky. Without Yan Di, Lin Feng wouldn't have been able to go that high up either. Do you understand why cosmic energy pierced through the sky? Do you understand why peerless cultivators hide all the time? Do you understand why there are no great emperors in this world? Asked Yan Di. Lin Feng's heart was pounding, he was astonished. He tried to calm down. He had guessed several of those things before. The sky is not the only thing which has a limit, Ba Huang and Jiu Yu do too. And nobody knows where the holy city is because it's in another world, said Yan Di solemnly. The world in which you live is like the world in which I was sealed. It's a world which was perfectly made, explained Yan Di. He had thought that an Emperor Yu's small world, after he had seen the people who lived there. They didn't know that their world was a small world until Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Qi attacked. Lin Feng felt so sad for those people, but he imagined how he would have reacted if he had been them. Lin Feng remained pensive for a long time. There were many mysteries in the cultivation world. What about the holy city? What about the ancient battlefield in the Huangxi? What about Fortune City and the 12 shrines? Who were those people who had appeared in the shrines? Lin Feng guessed that many people he had seen in those shrines had lived in other worlds, just like him. Of course, that world exists on its own now. It has existed for such a long time. It almost doesn't have limits. It's like people and animals who live in other worlds, unless you're very strong, you can't know it. For ordinary people, living in a small world or in a real world is the same. And strong cultivators who know about that don't talk about it, otherwise ordinary people would panic, said Yen Di. Then, there must be many, many small worlds. Could it be that the holy city is a great world? The center of the worlds, asked Lin Feng. Indeed. You will realize how big the world is only after you go to the holy city. There are many strong cultivators there who have lived for thousands, even dozens of thousands of years. The history of the world is a part of their memories. The strongest ones all have small worlds. They can even create small worlds with their own rules. You can imagine how many small worlds there must be in the cultivation world, said Yen Di. Lin Feng recalled the 12 shrines, then he suddenly understood that those people were just like him, they were geniuses from the other small worlds. The young man who had a king's body, the ice and frost dragon, the mysterious girl in black, Lin Feng remembered them all. They would probably all go to the holy city like him and the other geniuses from Ba Huang and Jiuyu. Someday, I will go to that place and will see countless incredible cultivators. I will also have memories which will date back thousands of years. Someday, I will be a part of those cultivators whom everybody has heard of, thought Lin Feng. Chapter 1497, Tiantai's direct disciples. Suddenly, Lin Feng understood a lot more. The geniuses from the 12 shrines were geniuses from the other small worlds. He also recalled what Xiaoya had told him. The holy city was a different world because it was actually the real world. He also remembered that the 3 Lives Demon Emperor had disappeared because he had left that small world. He had probably pierced through its barriers and left. However, he now had millions of questions again. What was the thing which had pierced through the sky when he had opened the 3 live scriptures? Why did cosmic energies pierce through the sky when people broke through to the Huangqi layer? Were there some things only emperors could understand? Yen Di tapped Lin Feng's shoulders and smiled, let's go down. Lin Feng nodded. After a short time, they arrived on Fire Mountain again. Lin Feng, even though you've never seen the great world, I'm here and I will not disappoint you. I will take you to that great world at some point, said Yen Di solemnly. You should practice cultivation diligently and become stronger. Otherwise, I will soon catch up with you and you won't be happy, said Lin Feng teasingly. Yen Di looked at Lin Feng angrily. Back then, he was only a thread of consciousness, it would still be very difficult for him to become as strong as when he was a great emperor. I'm going, said Lin Feng, and then he left looking both confident and at ease. With Yen Di in Fire Mountain, Lin Feng didn't need to worry. He also didn't worry about Yen Di's safety. If the Imperial Assassin Union came to Fire Mountain, Yen Di would just kill them all. Lin Feng left Fire Mountain and headed towards western Ba Huang. He didn't travel via portal, he still had plenty of time with 20 days left, so he didn't need to rush. He had to spend some time relaxing. Even though he knew he needed to kill many people to become stronger, sometimes, he needed time to think. He needed time for himself. 5 days later, on the border between southern and western Ba Huang, there was a wonderful landscape which possessed more beauty than one could possibly take in. Lin Feng was lying on a small boat, sunbathing. Some people were playing music in the background. Beyond Lake, birds singing on trees, beautiful landscapes, why don't you sit down to enjoy it, said the boatman while smiling at Lin Feng. Beautiful landscapes, lakes and mountains, they're not mine, so why would I watch, said Lin Feng with his hands on his chest. He then laughed and said, "Why are there so many beautiful women playing music here? You're an incredible person, but there are still some things you don't know. The islands of the Bian Lake are places where people like to trade. Each island belongs to a powerful group, and those musicians are from those groups. They welcome hosts," said the boatman smiling. Lin Feng smiled indifferently but didn't ask much more. He enjoyed the peace and tranquility. After Lin Feng learnt that his world was a small world, his perspectives changed. He felt indifferent. The boat moved across the lake. Lin Feng listened to the music. Some beautiful women danced on the islands as he passed them. 10 days later, a silhouette ran through the forests, tossing leaves around. Half a month later, in a small village, a baby was crying. A young woman took the baby in her arms and breastfed it before it stopped crying. She was resting at the foot of a tree. It was cool outside like an autumn setting. Not far from the tree, there was a handsome young man with an ancient sword resting on his back. He was smiling back at her. The young girl looked surprised, but then she looked happy. The sun was shining on her face. After a short time, she turned her head and there was another young man. 20 days later, in an ancient city, a young man in white clothes was sitting on the ground in front of a very ancient building. He was looking up at the sun with his arms crossed on his chest. Why were there stars? Why was there a sun in that small world? When breaking through to the Huang Qi layer, a cultivator condensed cosmic energies. Just what kind of energies were cosmic energies? Lin Feng was asking himself questions about life, but he had to stop thinking after a while to relax. It was sunset, and Lin Feng was still sitting there. It became dark outside, and sometimes, people passed in front of him, but it all felt like a dream. When the sun rose again the next day, Lin Feng stood up and went to the city center. Sometimes, he passed next to some people fighting, and watched the blood splashed, but he didn't seem interested nor surprised. He was just a guest in that city, not a savior. He couldn't care about everyone. He wasn't a kind-hearted god, he was a killer. Maybe someday, he would make his own world, and then he would try to make that a perfect world. Gulong City was the closest city to the Tianlong's mountain chain. It was one of Tianlong Divine Castle's most influential cities. At that moment, a young man in white clothes was walking around in the ancient city. He looked relaxed. He was walking slowly, but people thought they were hallucinating when they saw him. He walked slowly, but at the same time, he quickly disappeared from their fields of vision. "I can bet that he's a genius from Ba Huang," said someone in a restaurant while looking out of the window. "Possibly." "Who do you think he is?" said his interlocutor. "He has an ancient sword on his back and he is wearing white clothes, so it must be Lin Feng," whispered that person. The people on his sides looked at him. Lin Feng. The direction in which he was walking was towards Tianlong Divine Castle. Was Lin Feng going to Tianlong Divine Castle? Lin Feng stopped and glanced around. Where are the others? Are they here already? At that moment, a dozen fishers appeared. "Huh, you're punctual," Lin Feng said Xing Zhan while jumping out of a fissure. His other disciples also jumped out of the fissures. Apart from Mu Chen and Ho Qing Lin, 10 disciples had arrived. "Brothers, you've become stronger," said Lin Feng smiling. "When is our teacher coming?" "Lin Feng, our teacher is waiting for us in Tianlong Divine Castle," said Tian Qi smiling. Lin Feng was astonished. Tianlong Divine Castle. Lin Feng gazed into the distance where he could see Tianlong Divine Castle. A year ago, Tianlong Divine Castle, the Qin clan and the Si Kong clan attacked Tiantai. Then, Ruoxia, Lin Feng and Qin Tian went to the Qi clan and killed a lot of people. "Now, we're all going to attack Tianlong Divine Castle," said Tian Qi smiling. Then, he immediately jumped up into the air. Chapter 1498, Tianlong Divine Castle's Judgment Day. Tianlong Divine Castle's territory was very vast. Each building was ancient and had the shape of a dragon. At that moment, a silhouette appeared. That person was wearing a blue robe and he looked indifferent. Many people looked at him, but they didn't recognize him. However, they could see that he was extraordinary. Some people did recognize him and were shaking. Emperor Yu. People started talking all over Tianlong Divine Castle's territory. Emperor Yu shook his hand and suddenly, gigantic earthy mountains fell from the sky. Tianlong Divine Castle had existed for thousands of years, but nobody had ever dared come to their territory without permission. Even though many buildings exploded, nobody died. Emperor Yu was an emperor, so he respected Ba Huang's rules and controlled himself. Emperor Yu. Suddenly, the sound of dragons chanting thundered. A silhouette rose up in the air. That person was wearing dragon armor. Apart from Emperor Tianlong, who could compete with Emperor Yu? Emperor Yu looked indifferent. He punched the air in Emperor Tianlong's direction. Then, they both jumped into an empty space. They didn't need to talk. Since Emperor Yu had come, they had to fight. They couldn't fight outside, otherwise, all the cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle would die. Emperors are fighting, thought the crowd. There, the crowd saw several silhouettes descend from the sky: Buddha lights, golden lights, Tian Qi. White clothes, ancient sword, Lin Feng. The direct disciples from Tian Tai are invading Tianlong Divine Castle, thought the crowd. Only now did they understand what was going on. Tian Tai has come to their revenge. Last time, the Qi clan, the Si Kong clan and Tianlong Divine Castle had gone to Tian Tai. There they had killed many people. Then, Lin Feng and Wuxia had killed people in the Qi clan. This time, Tian Tai had come to attack Tianlong Divine Castle. It was even more terrifying. Fight, shouted someone whose voice also carried dragon chants. Tianlong Divine Castle's people knew what was going on, so they didn't need to talk. A gigantic Buddha appeared behind Tianqi. That gigantic Buddha seemed like it could crush the world. A gigantic Buddha also appeared near Ban Roa, and he used the Virokana sword to attack. Xing Zhan shouted furiously, and his fierce energies filled the sky. Ku Kan released a terrifying desiccated tree. Li Hen played music. Mo Qing Tian used his star book and created a star sword. Wu Yong released a gigantic hand. Ruoxia used a desolation sword attack. Lin Feng unsheathed his Tian Ji sword and released thunderous energies. The 10 direct disciples of Tian Tai all attacked at the same time. The space around them became completely distorted. Those who were in a crowd started running away chaotically, they wanted to survive. Many people couldn't escape though and were bombarded by the attacks. Turn into dragons and kill them, said the Crown Prince of Tianlong when he saw them. His eyes were bloodshot, but he looked a bit scared though. During the meeting of the emperors, the disciples of Tian Tai had shown how strong they were. Now, a long time had passed since the meeting of the emperors and they had probably become even stronger. Those direct disciples were terrifying people and Ho Chin Lin wasn't there. Amongst the 9 princes of Tianlong Divine Castle, Lin Feng had killed 7 of them. Only the Crown Prince and his brother were left. The strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle all turned into dragons. The Crown Prince already knew that they couldn't defeat Tian Tai, but he still had to try. The Tianlong scepter appeared in his hand. Then the Crown Prince shouted furiously and threw himself at Lin Feng. Lin Feng jumped forwards and moved like the wind. Then black fissures appeared where the scepter was. The Crown Prince was at the very top of the Zun Qi layer now, coupled with the Tianlong scepter which was an imperial weapon, his strength was astonishing. Ban Roa, Ku Kan, Li Hen, follow me, we'll fight the Crown Prince. Xing Zhan, Qing Tian, Wu Yong, Mu Bei, you deal with the other prince. Lin Feng and Ruo Xie, you slaughter people, said Tian Qi. Lin Feng and Ruo Xie had already joined hands and killed people from the Qi clan, so if it had worked then, it would work now. Alright, said Lin Feng. He didn't mind. He had spent a month relaxing, so he was past due for a bloodbath. Slash, someone wanted to get near them, but Lin Feng's Tianji sword lacerated them both and they died. Boom! A terrifying light moved towards those fighting against the princes, however, Lin Feng used his deadly demon punch and destroyed them immediately. Then, Lin Feng landed in front of someone. Long time no see, said Lin Feng smiling thinly. He was standing in front of Jinggu. He had seen him outside of Tianyuan City, where he had tried to kill him. Lin Feng would always remember him. Jinggu was not happy to see him. Back then, Lin Feng was weaker than him. Now, he smiled with delight in front of him. Lin Feng raised his hands and condensed demonic energies. At the same time, he also condensed a force which was multiplied by 600 times his strength. His energies oppressed Jinggu. Dong! Lin Feng took a step forwards, forcing Jinggu to take a step backwards. His face turned deathly pale. Jinggu's blood was boiling as he slowly turned into a demon. Lin Feng smiled coldly and took another step forward. Then Lin Feng condensed his force in his hands. Arg! Jinggu shouted furiously and raised his dragon fists, using his full strength with his first attack. Explosions sounded and then 2 holes appeared in Jinggu's body. Each of them were filled with demonic energies. His face was deathly pale, even his hands had disappeared. How weak! Lin Feng turned around and continued killing people. Then, Jinggu's body slowly turned black and then to dust. Lin Feng continued using his deadly demon punch and nobody could withstand a single attack. He killed everyone in his way. People in the distance were incredulous. Tianlong Divine Castle was doomed. Chapter 1499, 2 Emperors joining hands. Ruo Xie's desolate sword was quick and terrifying. He condensed desolate and speed abstruse energies together in it. Cultivators at the 8th Zun Qi layer or below couldn't withstand a single attack. Corpses fell like rain around him. Deadly demon punches always emerged in pairs. Each time, 2 cultivators were struck and were reduced to dust. Very quickly, Tianlong Divine Castle's strong cultivators stopped attacking. They just surrounded Lin Feng and Ruo Xie and looked at them furiously. Above them, in the sky, the other disciples from Tiantai were fighting against the princes. Tianlong Divine Castle has existed for 1,000 years. Even though they don't have that many strong cultivators, at least they have a lot of people, said Ruo Xie while glancing at the crowd. Then, he looked at Lin Feng and said, Lin Feng, those people can't compete with our friends. Last time, we had fun killing people in the Qi clan, now let's have fun and kill people from Tianlong Divine Castle. Alright. Lin Feng nodded and jumped forwards. He used his desolate Xana sword, and beheaded people one after the other. Arg! Someone shouted. A dragon hand reached towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng used his deadly demon punch and it collided with the dragon hand. Explosions sounded, and that hand exploded, then the cultivator with it. 6 strong cultivators surrounded Lin Feng. Those people were all cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. If their attacks reached Lin Feng, he would be in trouble. So close yet so far. Lin Feng reappeared in his empty space, but at the same time, he released sword energies which whistled and lacerated the cultivators. Blood splashed everywhere. After they realized that nobody could get near him, their faces turned deathly pale. They couldn't kill Lin Feng, while he could easily kill them. Boom boom. Lin Feng shook his hand and a mountain descended from the sky. Then Lin Feng condensed sword energies in his hand and cut the air in front of him. The buildings were collapsing around them, and strong cultivators were dying ceaselessly. Lin Feng, shouted the Crown Prince furiously. After he noticed that only a few people were still alive on the ground, he started to accept that maybe Tianlong Divine Castle was going to fall. Lin Feng ignored him and continued killing people. His sword was streaking across the sky and killed some more cultivators. Tiantai is going to destroy Tianlong Divine Castle, thought the crowd. At that moment, the Crown Prince was using the Tianlong scepter, and he had turned into a real dragon. He looked ferocious, he kept glancing at Lin Feng as fought the other direct disciples. A subtle sound was heard, as if a talisman had been broken. He had no choice but to admit that he couldn't defeat Tiantai's disciples. Besides, Mu Chen and Ho Qing Lin weren't even there. He had no choice but to inform Emperor Tianlong of the situation. Emperor Tianlong was still fighting against Emperor Yu though. The massacre continued, and the sky was riddled with cracks. A strong wind blew as two people appeared at the same time, Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Yu. Emperor Tianlong glanced around, devastated. Buildings were destroyed and there were corpses everywhere. "Stop!" shouted Emperor Tianlong furiously. What? Emperor Tianlong had joined hands with the emperors of the Qi clan and the Si Kong clan back then to destroy Tiantai. "I wouldn't have thought that I would see such a thing now," said someone at that moment. Emperor Tianlong yelled, "Emperor 1. It seems like my teacher was prepared," thought Lin Feng, smiling thinly. "What does this have to do with you?" said Emperor Tianlong, trying to control himself. "Of course it has nothing to do with me. I just want to watch." "That's all," said Emperor 1 smiling. Everybody knew that Emperor 1 would help Emperor Yu fight though. "Continue," said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng and the others. He was smiling and relaxing, like one would watching a movie at the theaters. Lin Feng was happy and smiled. "Emperor Yu and Emperor 1 are probably going to destroy Tianlong Divine Castle," said some people in the distance. "Wuxia, brother, help the others. Kill the second prince." "I can deal with these guys myself," said Lin Feng to Wuxia, who then nodded. "All right." Wuxia rose up in the air and threw himself at the second prince while releasing deceleration abstruse energy. At the same time, he used acceleration abstruse energy on his fellow disciples. Boom! Emperor Tianlong couldn't handle it anymore. He started flying towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng saw a gigantic dragon moving towards him, but there was nothing he could do about it. Gotcha! The space near Lin Feng exploded. Emperor Tianlong had the feeling that his arms were going to explode. He turned around and saw Emperor 1. "Emperor Tianlong, you dare try and attack my disciples." "Don't blame me then," said Emperor Yu. If Emperor Tianlong had any chances before, he was doomed now. "Father," shouted the Crown Prince. A gigantic dragon statue suddenly surrounded his body. "No," shouted Emperor Tianlong. Then he was surrounded by empty space lights again. "Emperor Tianlong has violated the rules of the emperors and attacked my good friend Lin Feng." "Don't blame me either," said Emperor 1 indifferently. Since when was Lin Feng Emperor 1's friend? Of course, Emperor 1 wanted to attack and just needed an excuse. "Save me," shouted the Crown Prince. The gigantic dragon statue which had surrounded him suddenly exploded. Emperor Yu had released earth energies to make it explode. Then, he died. He can only blame himself. "He didn't deserve to live," said Emperor Yu while killing the Crown Prince. Emperor Tianlong was furious, his eyes were bloodshot. Chapter 1500, surrounded the Tianlong scepter appeared, and Emperor Yu grabbed it. That was an imperial weapon, so he couldn't waste it. "Die!" shouted Emperor Tianlong as went insane. He released crazy amounts of cosmic energies. However, at that moment, he didn't have time to finish condensing his energies before Emperor Wen's attack reached him. Emperor Wen had already condensed two sorts of cosmic energies, energies from the earth and sky, as well as empty space cosmic energies. Kaboom! Two fists collided and terrifying fissures appeared in the sky. Emperor Wen's earth and sky cosmic energies continued moving forwards. "Emperor Tianlong," said the second prince. Emperor Yu released a gigantic hand which moved towards the second prince. That was Emperor Tianlong's last living son. Emperor Tianlong was devastated again. He wanted to cry and shout in fury. A horrible shriek sounded, and blood gushed. The second prince's body exploded after Emperor Yu crushed him to death. Emperor Tianlong will go insane, thought the crowd. Tianlong Divine Castle's 9 princes had all died now. Die, shouted Emperor Tianlong furiously. Die, kill them all, shouted a voice. That voice resonated far off into the distance. From the distance, a gloomy dark silhouette stepped out from a castle. If you hadn't seen them yourself, you wouldn't even know that they were there. Who are they, thought the crowd. Tianlong Divine Castle had hidden cultivators. He had shouted for help because he had no other choice. They look like assassins from the Imperial Assassin Union, thought some people. Emperor Wen and Emperor Yu looked at them and then smiled coldly. How do you explain that? Asked Emperor Wen. Emperor Wen, I guarantee you that you will regret what you did today, said Emperor Tianlong while staring at Emperor Wen. Then, he looked at Emperor Yu and Tiantai's people. You will all die. Kill them. The people in black clothes didn't make any sounds as they attacked. Your opponent is me, said Emperor Yu, releasing Qi. A strong cultivator in black clothes, who was also an emperor, moved towards Emperor Yu. Lin Feng saw someone heading towards him. He suddenly took out his Tianji sword and his eyes turned pitch black. How cold, thought that cultivator. The one in front of him started shaking, but then he shouted and ran forwards again. How cold, thought Lin Feng in return. He released more sword qi and slashed his sword in front of him. Cosmic strength, thought Lin Feng. That person wasn't an emperor, otherwise he would have borrowed the force of the earth and sky. However, he could already control cosmic energies. When a cultivator's force was multiplied by 1,000, he could also control cosmic energies. It was due to the changes which occurred in the physical body. Back in the Qi Empire, some cultivators who had attacked them by surprise also used cosmic energies even though they weren't emperors. They had gone abroad before coming back to kill their teachers. Lin Feng used his force which was multiplied by 600 and slowed down his opponent. Lin Feng condensed sword energies in both hands as well as immortal energy. Boom boom, thunder blasted, and a gigantic canyon appeared in the ground. Waves of sword energies flowed, looking almost gentle. It was the duality of things, everything had two sides, life and death, yin and yang. Boom! Lin Feng's sword energies were destroyed by the cosmic energies though. Even though Lin Feng's sword attack was powerful, it still couldn't compete with cosmic energies. I still can't fight against cosmic energies, thought Lin Feng. Then, he moved like the wind and turned into a shadow. Where are you going? Shouted that cultivator in a cold way. He performed a knife hand strike in the sky and a celestial river moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng coughed blood after it hit him. Cosmic strength was terrifying. Because his opponent hadn't broken through to the Huang Qi layer yet, his cosmic energies were weaker. Otherwise, Lin Feng wouldn't have just coughed blood. Even amongst emperors, some of them were better than others at controlling cosmic energies. Terrifying energies surrounded Lin Feng again. His opponent was condensing cosmic energies again. Even emperors had been injured in the Qi Empire after their disciples had attacked them by surprise. Lin Feng was in mortal danger now. Lin Feng wanted to escape but everything around him had turned into a gigantic lake. It was as if Lin Feng was going to drown in it. Slash! An arrow streaked across the sky. That person sensed how dangerous the arrow was, but it was too late. It lacerated the lake's cosmic energies and pierced through that cultivator's head, killing him instantly. Lin Feng was a meter away, he was soaked, his muscles hurt. Wuxia went through the same thing. Someone saved him at the last second, arrows killing those who wanted to kill him. Lin Feng raised his head and saw the watchers. The one who looked the most heroic was standing in the middle. He looked stronger than the others, for it was the watcher's father. After Emperor Tianlong saw the watcher's father and the watchers, his facial expression changed drastically. What was going on? He hadn't expected them to show up. Had Emperor Yu planned it all? Did he really want to wipe Tianlong Divine Castle off the map for real? When he looked at Emperor Yu was already looking at him mockingly with the largest of grins. Chapter 1501, Destroy Watchers. The crowd in the distance were amazed. The legendary watchers were there, in front of them. Besides, they looked a lot stronger than in the legends. According to legends, the watchers only protected those who had the potential to become emperors, but those ones seemed different. The Imperial Assassin Union hadn't appeared for so many years. Last time it was a bloodbath. Now, they're here again, so there must be an impending tragedy for Ba Huang, thought the crowd. Why are the Imperial Assassin Union and the Watchers in Ba Huang, wondered so many people. That was its own mystery. Why did the Imperial Assassin Union want to take over Ba Huang? At that moment, Emperor Tianlong felt the pressure. The Watcher's father had even shown up, which spelled bad news for him. Emperor Tianlong knew that Emperor Yu had prepared for this for a while already. He had brought Tiantai's disciples to kill his disciples, he had killed his two sons, he had infuriated him to the point where called upon the Imperial Assassin Union. Emperor Yu. Emperor Tianlong looked furious. Emperor Tianlong, said Watcher's father hoarsely. Emperor Tianlong raised his head and looked at him. Emperor Tianlong, why did you join hands with the Imperial Assassin Union? Asked the Watcher's father in a deep voice. Emperor Tianlong glanced at the members of the Imperial Assassin Union and then looked at the Watcher's father, then Emperor Yu and the others again. He was furious and scared. He was at a dead end. Watcher's father, I also want to ask you a question, said Emperor Tianlong. You're joining hands with Emperor Yu from Tiantai, who are you actually? It seems like it's useless to discuss those things, so die, said the Watcher's father hoarsely. In a flash, many of his shadows appeared in the sky, and dazzling arrows filled with cosmic energies descended. The other Watchers also attacked and shot arrows. There were so many arrows that they blotted out the sky. Slash, slash, many people were transpierced by the arrows. Only the strongest ones could resist, otherwise, they died instantly. In a short time, 5-6 assassins had died. Emperor Wen was still in the sky, releasing cosmic energies. He raised his hands and sealed the space. A curtain of energies appeared all around them, of which only emperors could destroy. The person Emperor Yu was facing stepped back. He feared that the Watcher's father could still chase him if he ran. Emperor Yu didn't chase him, instead he raised his hands and released his force, which was multiplied by 1,000. That cultivator felt oppressed, like his soul was going to be kicked out of his body. A yellowish stone crushed the cultivator, reducing them to dust. Even if a Zun cultivator controlled cosmic energies, they couldn't defeat emperors. Emperor Tianlong crushed 2 arrows which were moving towards him. A second later, the Watcher's father appeared in front of him. Be careful, shouted someone at Emperor Tianlong, making him shake violently. The Watcher's father didn't move, as if he was in his natural state, but Emperor Tianlong was shaking and sweating. He'd never had that feeling, the feeling that he was going to die. He looked desperate. Boom, a terrifying strength bombarded Emperor Tianlong's body. I can't block that attack. Emperor Tianlong couldn't think clearly. He didn't try to block it, instead he ran away as fast as he could. Dong! Emperor Tianlong's soul shook violently as if it was going to explode. A hand passed in front of him. If he had been even 1 second slower, he would have died. He was already 1,000 meters away, but he was soaked in a cold sweat because the Watcher's father was relentless. He is hiding his real chi, thought Emperor Tianlong. The Watcher's father's attacks don't seem to contain chi, which means the chi inside is hidden. If a cultivator closed their eyes, they wouldn't know that he was there, even an emperor couldn't. Besides, that attack aimed at a cultivator's soul. Emperor Tianlong knew that if that punch had reached him, he would have died, and his soul would have been destroyed. However, Emperor Tianlong felt like he had managed to escape from death. The Watcher's father didn't stop though. He continued chasing Emperor Tianlong silently. Emperor Tianlong was scared shitless when he saw that person wearing the plated bamboo hat appear here or there. Bzzz, several silhouettes of the Watcher's father appeared all around and condensed strength at the same time. Gotcha, at that moment, a metallic sound rang. Emperor Wen's curtain of energies broke, and a strong cultivator rushed out towards Emperor Tianlong, boom. Emperor Tianlong was suddenly surrounded by cosmic energies, but he didn't look scared. On the other hand, he looked pleasantly surprised. He had hope again. He had managed to escape from death once more. Amongst the other strong cultivators from the Imperial Assassin Union, there was still one left. It was an emperor-level cultivator. Oh. Chapter 1502, Ferocious, Fierce, Tough. After the Watcher's father saw that Emperor Tianlong was trapped in a cage, he performed some hand seals, and a sharp sword strength appeared. It quickly pierced through the sky. A dark light pierced through cosmic energies and aimed for Emperor Tianlong's throat. However, at the same time, dazzling lights appeared before Emperor Tianlong and fissures formed. The Watcher's father looked furious. That person's empty space cosmic energies were extremely fast, even faster than him. Lin Feng was observing the battle when suddenly a gigantic hand filled with cosmic energies reached for him. Lin Feng didn't know where that gigantic hand came from. Bzzz, a tornado appeared, and energies surrounded Lin Feng. That gigantic tornado assaulted the energies which surrounded Lin Feng and destroyed them, but as they dispersed, Lin Feng disappeared. He was now between Emperor Wen and Emperor Yu. "Come here," shouted Emperor Yu to all the strong cultivators from Tiantai and the Watchers. The strong cultivator who was fighting against the Watcher's father was a medium-level emperor. He could kill most people in a flash. But Emperor Wen and Emperor Yu had managed to save Lin Feng. The Watcher's father stopped chasing Emperor Tianlong, instead he ran towards the one who was fighting against Emperor Yu just a moment before. Millions of silhouettes of the Watcher's father appeared, nobody knowing which one was the real one. "Let's go." Emperor Tianlong and that emperor wrapped themselves up in empty space energies. The medium-level emperor threw himself at Emperor Yu with his fists raised. He wanted to hold out until the other two left. Emperor Yu raised his hands and mountains fell from the sky. However, only one punch was destroyed while the other one was still moving forwards. Emperor Wen released terrifying cosmic energies, creating painful whistling sounds. Everything shook under that blow, the scene was apocalyptic. Emperor Yu released cosmic energies, instantly enveloping everybody with an armor. The attacks reached them, and even though they were protected, some of them still coughed up blood. The Watcher's father didn't chase. The medium-level emperor's cosmic energies were too terrifying. He couldn't chase him because if he did, he wouldn't be able to protect the group. "Let's go," said the Watcher's father. Instantly, everybody started leaving. They hadn't managed to kill everyone. Some time passed before the Watchers and the others all left. Tianlong Divine Castle had become a desolate and unpopulated place. All the buildings were wrecked. There were canyons and craters everywhere. Tianlong Divine Castle had been wiped off the map. In the distance, many people were aghast. Tianlong Divine Castle had existed for thousands of years, and from one day to another, they had disappeared. Some more time passed, and some people came to see Tianlong Divine Castle's territory. Finally, some people couldn't control themselves anymore. Tianlong Divine Castle had been destroyed, but its territory still had many treasures. Tianlong Divine Castle had existed for thousands of years, so they must have an infinite amount of treasures. All those wrecked palaces and castles probably contained priceless treasures. Those who had survived didn't prevent people from stealing treasures, the weaker ones had even left. Lin Feng and the others were already far away, they didn't know what was going on there. The watchers were still with them. Because Lin Feng couldn't see their faces, he was wondering if his watcher was amongst them. "You're lucky to be the watcher's father, it's a great time for Ba Huang, while it's a tragedy for the Imperial Assassin Union," said Emperor Wen, smiling to the watcher's father. He looked at the watcher's father with admiration. Emperor Wen knew how terrifying the Imperial Assassin Union was, so he was surprised that the watchers had managed to kill so many assassins at once. "It's still too early. I know how powerful the Wen clan is, so I hope that the Wen clan will collaborate with us seriously in the future. I hope that we'll become a powerful group and that will destroy the Imperial Assassin Union. Then, we'll make this world great again," said the watcher's father hoarsely. Emperor Wen smiled and nodded, "Master, I will do my best." The watcher's father added, "I hope the Wen clan can use their full strength and that we can destroy the Imperial Assassin Union thoroughly." "Are you sure we can?" asked Emperor Wen. "Stay in Ba Huang and wait for my message," said the watcher's father. Then, he gazed into the distance. Under his plaited bamboo hat, his eyes were twinkling. "All right, we will wait for your good news," said Emperor Wen smiling. He waved at the watcher's father and left. After Emperor Wen left, Emperor Yu looked at the watcher's father and said, "Do you need me to do anything?" "You can inspect the entire province," said the watcher's father. Emperor Yu nodded. "See you in eastern Ba Huang," said the watcher's father before he left with all the other watchers. Lin Feng and the others were excited after they heard Emperor Wen, Emperor Yu, and the watcher's father talking. "Lin Feng, I'm taking you somewhere special," said Emperor Yu, glancing at the crowd before adding, "All your fellow disciples have been there, so you should see it too." "The limits of the sky," said Lin Feng. Emperor Yu looked surprised and smiled, "You already know about it?" "Yes, I do," said Lin Feng smiling and nodding. Emperor Yu smiled and nodded, "That's good, so I don't need to talk too much nonsense." "Teacher, are we going to fight against the Imperial Assassin Union?" asked Lin Feng. "Yes, they have existed in this world for a long time. Last time, it was a bloodbath. They have only continued to hide because of the Watchers. They tried to kill everyone from the Ba Huang province and Jiu last time in the Qi Empire, they failed and now they're furious. We need to eradicate them before they become any more of a threat," said Emperor Yu. "All right, you should disperse and go to Shuri City in the eastern part of Ba Huang. Don't draw people's attention," said Emperor Yu to everyone. Then he disappeared. Chapter 1503, The Holy City's Disciples. Shuri City, millions of years ago, used to be the most beautiful city in the eastern part of Ba Huang. In the last thousands of years, the Qi clan played an important role in Shuri City's success. Tianlong Divine Castle had been annihilated 7 days ago, everybody new in Ba Huang had heard the news now. Surprisingly, Tianlong Divine Castle was a part of the Imperial Assassin Union. Of course, even more astonishing was that Tian Tai and the Watchers had joined hands to eradicate Tianlong Divine Castle from Ba Huang. Emperor Tianlong had lost his sons, his disciples, his territory, everything he had created. Only corpses and wrecked buildings were left of his former headquarters. In Shuri City, there was a tea house where people drank the best varieties of teas and shared opinions on cultivation. People there were educated and knew a lot about current affairs. At that moment, less than 10 people were sitting in a circle, while other people who were outside of the circle didn't dare get close. Those people in the center had done incredible things, even erudite elders didn't dare disturb those young men. The one sitting on the western side is Xia Tianfan. He defeated many geniuses from Ba Huang. He even defeated Wen Tiangu in a single attack, whispered someone was pointing at one of the young men. Xia Tianfan is strong, but his cultivation level is not that high. He has only broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer. You see that one in golden clothes? His name is Zhou Tianroa. He's broken through to the 9th Zun Qi layer and he killed a young man from the Feng clan recently because of something he had said. Then he destroyed the Feng clan. Even the Qi clan told him they hoped he could be merciful, but he didn't care, said someone else to his friend. Indeed, 3 days before, people had heard that the Feng clan, a clan which was neither too strong nor too weak, had been destroyed completely. A young man of the Feng clan had infuriated Zhou Tianroa and Zhou Tianroa had annihilated them to the last person. The elders of the clan had sought Zhou Tianroa to get their revenge and the result was just as tragic. Even the Qi clan couldn't do anything against it. After that, everybody in Shuri City knew how strong Zhou Tianroa was. That one there must be Guli. He's friends with Zhou Tianroa. Zhou Tianroa talks to him in a polite way, which means that Zhou Tianroa must be weaker than Guli. Brother, we've been here for a while, but there isn't a single genius here, said a young man who had a feather fan and a silk kerchief. There are many people who have an undeserved reputation here, but there are some real geniuses. I fought against Kong Ming from the Celestial Thunder Temple and lost, said Xia Tianfan calmly. Many people were astonished. Xia Tianfan and Kong Ming had fought, and Xia Tianfan lost. Nobody had heard about that. Kong Ming was discreet, so he wasn't like most people who liked to show off. Xia Tianfan was very humble too, he wasn't conceited in the slightest. Also, when Tiangu and Si Kong Shao are extraordinary cultivators too, said Xia Tianfan looking pensive. Even though he had defeated them, he still admitted they were talented and strong. Besides, he knew he had grown up in a better environment with more cultivation resources, so there was no reason to compare himself with them. People from Ba Huang province didn't have access to as many cultivation resources as those young men. Those young men had come to that world to practice cultivation, that's all. They were avid travelers who had been to many small worlds already and would go to many more. They were only interested in seeing how strong people were in the different worlds. Jun Mo, she would be stronger than me if he had the same cultivation level as me, said another young man smiling thinly. It was a young man in blue clothes. He was smiling in a gentle way and looked easy to get along with. Jun Mo, she has the legendary imperial immortal body. The emperor of the Palace of the Immortals also transmitted knowledge to him, so it's no wonder that he's talented, said the others around nodding. In the crowd outside the circle, Lin Feng was eavesdropping. He had come to that tea house to see if he'd hear any interesting news before he found out that a meeting was going on. Mo Peng from the bestial imperial palace has a great oriental greenfinch rock body, said someone else. Bei Yenyun from the Celestial Walls Manor has broken through to the 9th Zun Qi layer and her force is multiplied by 500 already. She's also very strong, said Zhou Tianroa indifferently. Many people look skeptical. Bei Yenyun from the Celestial Walls Manor. Many people didn't know about the Celestial Walls Manor. Gu Li smiled indifferently. Zhou Tianroa talked about Bei Yenyun but hadn't talked about Lin Feng. I heard that the 12 direct disciples of Tiantai are monstrous geniuses. Unfortunately, Tiantai has disappeared and its disciples have joined other groups. Otherwise, we would have met them and we could have exchanged views on cultivation with them. Indeed, there must be some incredible cultivators from Jiuyu that we haven't seen either. There are also outstanding geniuses from Tiantai. Mu Chen is a cultivator at the very top of the Zun Qi layer. Ho Qing Lin controls reincarnation energy. Tian Qi is an incredible Buddhist cultivator and there's also Lin Feng, he's extremely aggressive and famous. I wonder if they deserve their reputation. I think Brother Zhou already knows about that, said one of the young men, looking at Zhou Tianruo and smiling in a deep and meaningful way. I don't know what you mean, said Zhou Tianruo, looking back at that young man. He was trying to control himself. I heard that Brother Gu, you and Lin Feng met in the Celestial Walls Manor. I've even heard that you and Lin Feng had a battle, said that young man calmly. Everybody stared at Zhou Tianruo. Why did he mention Bei Yanyan but not Lin Feng? Did that mean that Zhou Tianruo didn't consider him a strong cultivator, that you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel? We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.